how's it going, everybody? Hold up, one moment.
As I suspected, 32 flavors.
That was a cold
There
open.
we go. I don't know why. I'm like, for some reason, my brain just like paused and that'll happen. But what's up, guys? You're all here early for Toxic Tuesday, even though Midnight's Edge After Dark is still going. But I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Nobody
Obviously,
likes Midnight's Edge anymore.
It's been an eventful last few days, and right away I got my very first 3 super chats ever. Just so you know, guys, I mean, just don't feel. I mean, I do appreciate it. That's great right off the bat. You guys are sending these over. Don't feel obligated to have to send them out unless you just really want to. That's fine too. Just because obviously the 1K is this Thursday afternoon, so if you want to hold off, otherwise go nuts. I don't know. Whatever.
Case, can I have my cash back? Can I have my cash back?
You get your cash. I'm just letting you all know. You don't have to send them now. You can wait till Thursday. Thursday is the 1K show.
I hope we're all getting to come on Thursday.
Or just send them both days. That works too, right?
If you want to do both days, that's fine. Hey, I'm not going to complain.
Hey,
about
I'm
both
the
days.
one that made you do PayPal, the stream elements on the beginning, right? Remember, people wanted to donate money.
I actually tried turning the monetization off for this, but I didn't know it was gonna like.
You still got the stream elements though.
Yeah, I do, but it's still here. I can't stop it. But Chef Nick Nero for $4.99, first and the first ever super chat.
Let's
save that. 70s Rock fan for Canadian $20 says many congratulations, brother. This is well deserved. Now on to 1 million. Let's conquer the world, folks. Let's conquer the world. Gen Xer for $10 says grats. And then D Bud Martin for wait for it. $32 says here's $1 for every one of your toxic flavors. Congratulations, Zick. Have a piece or two on me. You crazy man. Thank you for you guys are nuts. But seriously, thank you. That's awesome. Like I said, 1K stream is this Thursday afternoon, 3:15 p.m. Central. So unless you want to get them out of the way somehow, otherwise just hold off for 1K. But for those who sent them, thank you guys. D-Bud, 70s. Gen Xer, Nick Nero, that is awesome. I do greatly appreciate it. So, anyways, how are you all in the chat? Nice to see all your excellent faces. Vince Womack, Chef Nick Nero. I see the lovely Sherry. How you doing, Sherry? Dragon Master, Phantom Outsider. We always say Gen Xer. Brian Barth. Abigor. I'm here because he chose. Is that Eric from Watain on your photo, Abigor? If not, it looks like it. But anyways, yeah, message. Yeah, I did have my whoops moment. I was bound to. Bolt Metallica is the first. And Brian Barth, we will get to most of those to answer your question very quick and shortly. Yeah, 12 to go again. Hey, yesterday they knocked me down to 973 and I hit 988 today. So I call that progress. So anyway, to lead things off, 70s, how you doing, sir?
Very well, my friend. Thank you. And congratulations again to you. And look forward to Thursday's show. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, hey, if you want to come by and hang out for a little bit, I'd be glad to have you on, man. I mean, everyone is invited, really, today. Anyone who's ever been on.
My friend, but
is there free pizza?
Is there free
Dude,
pizza?
if I could ship pizza like to the other sides of countries and planets and worlds and dimensions.
The pizza is for 32 only.
We'll give you our addresses. You can send us pizza. It's easy.
You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts.
By the way, haggis is pizza in Scotland.
Well, you can put haggis on pizza. It's best with chopped liver, I guess, on the pizza.
Yummy.
And deleted scenes for $2. Congratulations on 1K. All right. Thank you, deleted scenes. All right. Killer. No, 70s. I'll glad you had you on.
I'd love to be on, mate. Yeah, Thursday afternoon I'm off work, so I think.
Perfect.
So
I might be able to swing by for a bit too, if that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
To be able to say hi. Yeah.
And while he's talking, Mark D with a C. How are you, sir?
Doing most excellent. Yep. Another great movie tonight. Dropped a few videos this week. Actually got some out. So, and of course, I boomered one of them. I started with the mic off when I was there. You got friends in chat like you're muted, right? Yeah. So having fun, and the weather's finally getting warm here in the Northeast. So looking forward to doing some camping this weekend here. So it's hopefully we have good weather. So
cool. No, awesome. Hey, glad to have you back, sir. And once again, guys, Mark D with the C. Shout out to Mark D with the C. This guy is the man who keeps the visuals going. So please sub to his channel. He would
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate it. He just a little over 200. He shows off a lot of killer geek and nerd shit. I mean, if that isn't a reason to sub to someone who's showing off stuff, that is great. And I see Sherry said, gave you 2 more, so you're at 990. Well, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it.
Mark
10
has
10
lovely...
10 away from 1K. So we're going to hit 1K again. We're going to hit 1K again. Just like how I hit 903 times. But anyways, Gary of the Pop Culture Minefield. How are you,
that's
sir?
me.
It's
I'm
you.
okay.
You're okay, that's it.
Yeah, we did our Scoop Zone today, and it'll premiere on Thursday. Fat Steven Skull and I do our show tomorrow at 6:00 Central Standard Time p.m. Shit Talk with Steven and Gary.
Nice.
So we're pretty happy. I've got stuff going on. I got things going for me.
I like it. I like it a lot. Killer. All right.
And congrats, by the way. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Although that is really odd about the 200.
Dude, it's been a weird weekend. Like, I see the numbers bounce up. Like, Dustin, obviously, he was not here tonight because he is at Deftones, as he should be. I'm like, dude, that's a great reason.
What, the Mighty Deftones?
Huh? You know, the killer band from Sacramento?
Oh, the Boss Tones, the Deftones.
Great band, been around since the 90s.
Of course I've heard of them.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you did or not. But anyways, Dustin, shout out to Dustin. Keto Simple and Brutal. He's at Deftones tonight, and that's a great reason not be here. So, but he's like, I hear that he knew, I don't know where he got the information from, but maybe his whole like thing is that they're analyzing all the accounts to make sure that they are like legitimate accounts, maybe because it's such a huge drop. And if they come back, great, awesome. And if they don't, well, they don't. And I'm not really holding on to that as like a thing of hope. Like, I'm not gonna rely on like, oh, I gotta depend on this. So when I did have the initial 1K, I did what's it called? I did apply immediately for monetization. And I was like, okay, no, this is gonna be interesting. Then like the number dropped back down. I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta reapply again. And all of a sudden I come home and I'm like,
no,
what?
even if you drop, once you have it.
Once you have it, yeah, apparently, I guess once you have it, you have it. And so I was like,
you've always got it, Nick.
Yeah, I've always had it. It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
That's what
sadly
she said.
Though. YouTube is a lot like the Highlander. There can be only one, so we all have to kill each other until there's only one left.
All right, I should probably write on the banner like for people to say like you don't have to just save your super chats for the 1K, because I literally was trying to find a way to turn it off just so I could like I wanted to hang out with everyone tonight just for the I always want to hang out for the fun of it, but tonight I want to do it for
just
extra,
roll with it, Nick.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
Just
Yeah,
roll with it.
I will.
People want to send you money. Don't worry about it.
I will roll with it. But anyways, Red Shirt, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Absolutely. And awesome. Congratulations as well.
Thank you.
From the cheap seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From the cheap seats.
This is gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Oh, yes, it will be. I mean, and guys, yes, Tom, of course, the infamous Tom Connors. He will be here shortly. And just to get you all a little something, a glimpse of the future, we do got a Toxic Tuesday intro coming. It'll be out in a few weeks, and a certain YouTuber is working on it, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be redonkulous. And the vision that we discussed over it, it's gonna be huge. So that's all I got to say about that. So keep your eyes and ears open now for that in a few weeks. Guys, I gotta see some real quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead and carry it and get the Rocky 2 going.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. Do what he told you.
Do it. Yeah.
No
get the slideshow going. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's get the slideshow up. So yeah. So this I was reading too. This movie actually did within 20 million of the first Rocky. So it was a pretty successful sequel. You got to say. I don't remember how big this was back when it first came out, but
it has that one line I always loved where if he was interested in condominiums. He goes, "No, I'm Catholic."
He says, "I never use them."
Yeah,
I never use
both,
them.
yeah.
See, as I said last week, I was lucky enough to see the first Rocky and this on a double bill for the first time. So I went straight into Rocky 2 from watching the first one, which was just
and it is
fabulous.
The movie begins with the ending of the previous film, so it is an actual direct sequel.
Yes,
To the
it
first
is.
film.
It starts off taking place a mere right after the first movie ends.
Yeah, right after
you got
the
Rocky
fight.
and Apollo going to the hospital because of the fight. And I love it because you have the contrast of Apollo at the end of the first movie, like, there ain't gonna be no follow-up. There ain't gonna be no follow-up. I don't want one. And all of a sudden they're hashing it out and their wheelchairs like, you got lucky, Stallion. You got lucky. And you could see like Apollo Creed was shooken so bad. Even like his guys are like, dude, you could just move on. And Rocky's like, hey, you got nothing to prove, man. What's up with this? And he's right in that sense that he had nothing to prove, but he feels a humiliation because that was just supposed to be the nobody. Like, hey, I gave you a shot at the heavyweight championship.
Well, yeah, because it actually wasn't
go all the way.
It wasn't supposed to be a real fight either.
It wasn't.
Right.
He wasn't expecting to have to actually compete. It was supposed to be like, hey, this is me giving some amateur a fight. And little did you know, he was in for an actual fight.
Right.
And man, like,
yeah,
I love
Apollo was in it as an exhibition fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was to him. And then it becomes this real match, and it's
right. And in the second, at the beginning of this movie, it seemed to me like Apollo, the character of Apollo, was really starting to channel Muhammad Ali.
Oh, totally. This movie, he really goes full Muhammad because the first movie. There's a little bit of the influences creeping in, but this movie, he goes full Ali.
With the whole hand thing, the hand gesture,
the hands, and the energy, and how kind of how you like to, I guess you could say, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, move around.
Yep.
Like he really is full on Muhammad Ali, almost like in some ways, I guess you could say, dare I say, a self-insert of him, because obviously he must have he was clearly paying attention to Ali as far as like how he acts and mannerisms and characteristics of the Muhammad Ali character for this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, for the youngins out there don't remember Ali, I mean, he was just so fantastic in the press and all those interviews with Howard Cosell, and he was such a charismatic guy.
And really, in many ways, Cosell helped him.
Yes.
Because after the draft dodging issues, his career should have been over. But Cosell stepped in, man, because he saw something.
Yeah.
It's interesting because he had a similar relationship in Britain with Michael Parkinson, who was the British equivalent of Howard Cosell. And he appeared a dozen times on his show. They had a very similar thing going. So he was a charismatic
I've watched
man.
Parkinson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Parkinson's he's a treasure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Ali wouldn't fight in the Vietnam War, so he was a conscientious objector. But he did 4 years in jail, so he actually went to prison. And of course, that he was at the top of his. I think he went in prison in 1970 or thereabouts. So he was top of the world, top of his game, and he stood up for his principles. And he didn't he didn't flee. He went he took his punishment, went to prison. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah. Yep.
There is a part of me that kind of respects that, even though, like, it's like, man, you should, it's one thing about a certain country, but even though whether you agree or disagree, I do respect conviction, even if I disagree with the stance, because that's like, okay, someone actually believes in their position and has a principle in it. So, anyways, not to go down that whole well.
Yeah. But that's why it was, when you model, when you think of a fighter, that's why you think of Muhammad Ali is, one of the greatest of all time, especially with the way he spoke. I mean, I love watching wrestling, WWE, and that's what all those guys are trying to emulate for the most part. That great charismatic fighter, and he's as smart with his brain as he is on his with his fists.
So just
he really was. But I wanted to point out too that I was a conscientious objector, but I served as a combat medic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which many people did during the Second World War. There was a lot
and all the way into Vietnam. If you were a conscientious objector, you could become a medic. They even mentioned that in the movie Birdie. when Nicolas Cage comes into the mental institution to visit his best friend. One of the guys he meets there from The Godfather, I can't think of his name. He died young. He said that he was a conscientious objector and was a medic, which is a lot of what that did. And I think that's one of the reasons why my dad took issue with him when I was a kid. But I love Muhammad Ali.
Wasn't that
man.
Hacksaw Ridge's plot too? Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah.
Yes, and they were it actually that wasn't in World War II, and I mean I believe that was the case in World War One, but somehow that had gone out of fashion. The idea of saying to a conscientious objector, "Fine, then you can become a medic, or you can go to jail." And he came very close in Hacksaw Ridge to going to prison.
And very similarly, you had actor Lou Ayre, who was in the movie, the original film, All Quiet on the Western Front. He was called out by the public for being a conscientious objector, but little did anybody know he was a decorated combat medic during the war.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he went on to still serve, but served as a combat medic, which is why I became one, because I found out you could do that, even as a conscientious objector.
Well, originally the actor Donald Pleasance was a conscientious objector in the Second World War, but after the Germans bombed London, he actually joined up and he ended up being shot down.
Yeah, there was after the bombings
Colditz.
of London, there was no conscious objectors.
He ended up in Colditz, and because he was in The Great Escape after, it was actually realistic for him to play that part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I wanted to ask about the opening scenes here in Rocky 2, and Tom might know, I guess. Were they exactly the same fight scenes? I think there's some different pieces there.
I think they used a couple of scenes that were filmed and not used previously.
Yeah, they look different, some of them. Yeah.
But they were from the first film. It's just some of them were, I think, cut scenes.
Yeah, they put it together
But
slightly
looks
differently.
mostly the same though, because I was like, "Oh, am I watching the right movie? What's going on?" I checked the file there to make sure I was taking the slides. Yeah, I'm like, wait.
And of course,
Exactly.
It was a great opening.
Bill Conti, who won the Oscar for the Rocky theme,
as he should.
Back.
As he should. Seriously, this soundtrack, and like, granted, even when he uses some songs like repeatedly, you still feel they impact. You still get that motivation. You still get that
the
like get up on your
build
feet.
up in your chest.
Yes, you're like, oh my god, like, dude, seriously, it sparks an adrenaline rush like no other. Like, there's that sparkling, like, exciting thing, and I love how this one was written and directed by Stallone. I feel like Stallone does not get enough credit as a director, because I really do feel like he pieced something really great with this movie, because obviously it lives under the shadow.
Well, he
of the
wanted to
first one a
direct the
little.
first film, but they would not let him.
Yeah,
do
they
it.
would not let him. But I really feel like he made a truly worthy follow-up with this movie, and I feel like that goes a little unnoticed.
Generally
agree.
speaking, I think he's a director from the Clint Eastwood school. He gets it done on time and on budget, and he's a fairly well-prepared, planned director, from what I've seen, anyway. Sorry, Richard, you were...
No, I was just agreeing with Nick Weiser there, because I think this the problem, I think, this movie, and I was noticing this at the beginning and going, okay, you at the end of the first movie, we hear both of them say there'll be no rematch. Well, now we have a second movie. So what are you going to do? You're not going to have a rematch? Of course you're going to have a rematch. This was the most predictable of all the movies.
Yes, but they don't know that, and the characters don't know that, Richard.
Oh, they don't, but the audience
We know
does.
that.
That's right. That's irony, right? But yeah, this one was a little bit predictable in that, okay, we're going to watch a rematch movie. But what I love about it is the way the whole first half of the movie is all about Adrian and the baby, and Mickey who steps up and first of all convinces him not to do it. But then after Mickey reads what Apollo's been saying about Rocky, he comes in and he just walks up to him and says, I think you should knock his block off. And so all of a sudden, Mickey's on side, but Rocky still, his head's not in it because Adrian doesn't want him to do it. And finally, she, after she comes out of gives birth prematurely because she's been lifting too many heavy boxes at the pet store. and she comes out of the coma, which is a really touching set of scenes. Where he's in there holding her hand. He and Mickey are both in the chapel. I mean, it's just that's all he did. That's all they did.
The fight? It's almost longer than the fight, I think.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's as longer than the fight, and you really get the sense. And Mrs. Redshirt mentioned this to me after we watched the movie. She said, "The thing that strikes me the most is that unlike most people who they get a lot of money for the first time in their lives." And the first thing they do is ditch the wife and go get a newer model.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He might buy the flash car and buy her the really the car
and buy the robot.
But he appreciates her. He appreciates her even more because he thinks about what he can do for her, what he can do for Fred. Because he's talking all across that first hour about what can we do for our family? What can we do to better our livelihood? And so it's like, he went nuts with money, but he was being mindful of his nuttiness with the spending. And that was cool. Like, I love that first hour because, you don't get the action, but you see how he handles the aftermath of the first movie so well. And it's funny because he's the one who's adjusting to his life of having all this like new status quo. Was Apollo Creed is on the opposite end. He already has everything, but he is mad. He is livid. They're handling it the opposite way. I love seeing that contrast between him and Apollo. One's like, man, I'm bruised up, but I feel good. And the other's
fix
like,
my nose.
I'm bruised up, but I'm angry.
I love Rocky's line. I don't remember exactly where it comes in, but he looks at Mickey and he goes, "He sounds really angry."
Well, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, that was
Apollo
great.
goes off insults and all, and Rocky just constantly complimenting him. The contrast is perfect in this one. I feel like they really mold like that. I really feel like they doubled down on their dialogue together because now obviously they're a little familiar with each other. Now they know they got a feel for each other. And they really turned it up with this movie. And Rocky's like, he's the embodiment of good dad jokes in this movie too. Like his lines are so on the nose. It's great.
You got anything derogatory to say about the champ? Yeah, he's great.
He's great. I feel like
the dialogue is really good in this.
Yeah.
Like when he's even after the fight. So there's really sharp dialogue in this. That's Stallone, and he's he says things like what do you think you should have done? He's like, well, talking about a fight. He's like, well, maybe I think I should have stayed in school, stuff like that. Where, he knows that, deep down that, this could, in this movie, the plot line or thread is, he could get blinded. And this is a really touching scene too, where Rocky goes in and he says, "Do you give your 100%?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." So he knows he fought the Apollo Creed.
He didn't take it easy on him. Yeah, he didn't take it easy on him.
Is that Apollo's last sparring partner then?
Yeah, who's that kid?
Yeah. You saw that in the first movie after he knocks Apollo down early in the fight. Apollo gets up off the mat and goes, "This isn't an exhibition fight.
Oops.
This guy's here to fight." Yeah.
Yep.
So, he did. I mean, he might not have gotten Apollo's best for 15 rounds. He might have gotten it for 14 and a half. But, he did. And Apollo's pissed off precisely because he's angry for the same reason that Rocky was perfectly satisfied. Rocky went the distance in the first fight.
Yeah. And Paulie was
for like the next 40 or 50 years.
And Paulie lost weight in this movie too. He was getting in shape. It looked like.
Yeah.
See, this is how you do a sequel properly. You pick up, you have the characters expand from where they left off in the first movie. You see how they handle the situation, and it's obviously it's a rematch, like so that there is that predictable element, but the execution, I feel like totally what balances that up because we all know it's gonna happen, but the events that build to it, dude, it builds to it. Like it doesn't feel like it drags on. Like you're invested in their livelihood now. Now you're invested in their family. Oh, I love how he speaks to the tiger. Hey, tiger.
Yeah. Want to come to the wedding?
Come to the wedding.
Invitation, Mr. Tiger. And there's no one at the church here.
It's almost like Mark Wahlberg type. Say hi to your mother.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Grant Greger from Australia, $20 says, "Hey, buddy, congrats on the monetization. May the many slices of pizza caress in your stomach. May the whiskey lighten up your palate. And the next time YouTube boinks you, may they at least use lubricant and give a retron." Dude, that's the least they could have done. It's the least they could have done. But you know what? Cowabunga it is. I'll work around it. Thank you, Grant, for that 20. I strongly appreciate that. You're a great friend, dude. And one day we're gonna meet in person. And we're gonna diddle dabble on some pizza. So let's carry on. Yeah, dibble
There's gonna
dabble.
be some diddling.
Dibble.
That's for sure.
I heard diddle, and I'm like,
it's gonna be the diddly, like Ned Flanders diddly.
That almost sounds like Netflix and chill.
Anyway, diddlies and all.
You can't meet Grant in person. He's on the other side of the flat Earth. I mean, come on. Who's he going to get round here?
I know the use them. Oh God! And there you go. They had the condominium.
Yeah.
The condominium.
Safe.
Yep. I love that line.
Yeah, condominiums. I never use them.
Seriously, his dad jokes got even better in this movie. Like his like once again his awkward, socially awkward but charmingly like lovable personality. Like I really, in some ways, I feel like he perfects it even more from this movie. So I feel like if anything he does better on, it's the Sylvester Stallone performance.
Well, I think he starts you see Rocky coming out of his shell a little bit because he was a pretty withdrawn guy in the first movie. And he's now starting to come out of his shell, partly because of Adrian. But, so he's got that sense of humor buried in there that nobody could see before. That's the implication there in the script.
Yep. And then Rocky actually didn't make that much money from the fight too. He cleared 37,000 out of 150,000. So the mob guy's like, "Yeah, taxes will kill you." Like he actually pays taxes. The mafia guys laundering all his money, probably. Yeah. But there's great lines in this throughout this movie. I mean, it's really well written, and if you're paying attention, it's not just a sports movie. And it's a love story too. I know we shouldn't say that on Toxic Tuesday, but I mean that's why I think this movie is popular with great date movie or couples movie because
this movie appeals to everybody. The first movie was a love story too.
Well, 70s, that's the way I like you.
Yeah. Oh, Rocky. Nick.
And the thing I love about both the first two films is Butkus. Because he actually got that dog. He kept that dog.
Oh, dude, that's another. Even that relationship is Spanish. He's having a full-on conversation about how about his very serious life. He's got all these responsibilities, and you're just a dog. Like sometimes I wish I was a dog. It's like, man, I relate to that thing. Pay no bills. You just eat food. You sleep. You roll around.
Like I said, man, he was Mark Wahlberg before Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Oh, and we gets the car too. Like,
do you know how to
that's
drive?
awesome car.
I feel like I connect, even though like I've never owned a car like that. I felt like I connected with him in the sense of like his success was like my success because it was like I got to see him go the distance, and now I get to see him reap the benefits of that distance. Even though he didn't win the fight, it was still a win in the sense that he went the distance. And to some people, he even won that fight, and you were rooting him on, cheering it along the way for him along that whole journey. And now you're feeling good for him. You're like, dude, hell yeah, get that car, get those watches, go nuts,
get that
man.
tiger jacket
with the tiger on the back.
Seriously, no, it's you feel a sense of satisfaction. He's married, like he's got a son on the way.
I wanted to point something out that we kind of went by so quickly.
Oh, no, go ahead.
When he was walking the wife home, carrying her, that is Frank Stallone.
Yep,
doing the lead singing around.
He was carrying Frank Stallone.
Fire.
Yeah.
No, he was carrying his wife.
Like Adrian.
Shut up, 70s.
Yeah, he was surprised she was so light. He's like,
here.
I can carry you all the way.
If I'd known you were so light, I would have carried you everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they do have a kid on the way because Rocky's not using those condominiums. So
and of course we get to see Butkus again at the pet store, and I love that.
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
I want, like, seriously, what a dog. Seriously, like, he just listens to
Yeah.
you. You got a vent, and the dog just sits there and he just hangs out and listens to you. It's like, see, I just need someone to listen. I need a response. I just need someone to listen. So Buckus is he's he's a dog's dog, or he's a man's dog in this regard. Because he's got the relationship with me. I'm the one who needed the vet, so I needed a dog to go to, a shoulder to cry on, and the dog was there. And yes, that tiger jacket is very epic, dude. His look is epic. Come on, I love the look.
This is
with
before
the
he went on
pants
that bread and
jacket.
water diet, so he still
Yeah.
has the skin hang under his jawline.
Mhm.
He got rid of that once he went on that bread and water diet when he was doing the movie Victory. After this,
Oh, there we go.
he got
There's
down
our
to
boy here.
10 to 12% body fat.
Look, he's
by the
reading
way,
all
just
his Twitter feed there.
Right
before it's gone. Yeah, before it's
in the
gone.
old days.
Did anybody actually notice what they were offered for a mortgage? I mean, this is the
Yeah,
late
that's why I left it
70s.
up on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just-
50,000 at 11.5%. I mean, oh my God, I remember the 70s.
And we're
yeah,
unfortunately
loans,
might be headed
everything
that
was
way.
incredible
It's coming
interest
back.
rates.
It's coming back.
Oh, I know. Get ready for it.
Yeah, 16,000 though. That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why my dad went to get a loan to start his business, and back when he went to start, it was 18.5% interest rate. And my dad goes, he's like, well, the mafia only charges 16 right now.
Right.
And then the banker goes, yeah, but if you can't pay, we don't come and break your legs.
That's
I'm
right.
like, okay, maybe your deal is better. But imagine, trying to start a business, practically like 20% interest. It's just,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
the pizza's going to be more expensive.
Oh,
And
the stickball scene.
This
I
is
love
fun
this.
seeing.
Yes.
But it's the charm of the character too. It's just he's such a charming guy, and he's a man of the people, right? Even though he won all, he almost won the fight, or we think he won, but and he's got some money, but he doesn't have a ton of money. But he's still not like it doesn't go to his head. He never becomes an a-hole.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the guy who once again he's still the neighborhood guy. Like he's still the guy who where once again the contrast of lifestyle. Apollo Creed, he's got it all. He's got the nice house. He's got the girl. He's the champion of the world, and obviously he's a damn good boxer in these movies. You really see the damage that Apollo Creed lays on him. So he's got it all. But this one thing is what eats at him.
Hey, Mark,
like the fact that this eats at him.
Can you go
so
back
bad.
to the OBGYN?
Sure, yeah.
Because that's so fucking funny. I'm sorry. He's hurrahing her for getting pregnant.
Oh yeah, Adrian.
Adrian, I know you could do it.
You missed the sign on the guy's door. It said "cervix with a smile."
Oh my god!
I think I didn't buy condominiums.
Yeah, I know.
Did a condominium machine on the wall.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I knew
this time it was going to be different. Yeah, this time it's going to be
Well,
different.
if they made this movie now, they'd be going to a certain building with the word parenthood in the name. But,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I don't know if I want the baby, Rock.
It's yeah. He's
This
maybe
is
going
my
to be as
truth.
stupid as you.
It's gonna be my truth, and yeah. See, that's the thing. You see that back and forth. Oh, well, you gotta have the best traits of you, and she's like, no, you're such a great guy. Obviously, our kid's gonna have what makes you great, you. And in 2022 lots, it's gonna be just all about everything that makes the mom great, and everything, nothing about the dad, because the dad would be a complete utter idiot. And it's nice to see them embracing and balancing each other out of that sheer love. So it wasn't just like a quick 1 week phase. They clearly still are madly in love with each other. So yeah, I guess Mark, you're right. In that sense, it totally is a love story in many regards because of that. Because you see them like
he sticks with her. Yeah, he doesn't dump her for a cuter, younger model. Although Adrian's very pretty, but he doesn't go for these girls, right? That are in the commercial, right? And that was that really nice line where he said, "Oh, I saw you the first time. You're under like what, 5 sweaters?" Well, she's like 3, but he's like, "I knew you were the prettiest girl in Philadelphia." So there's really a lot of charm to his character and a lot of heart that you really love. And he's not, overly romantic. Obviously, he's not a Casanova, You know, he can't say these long fancy words, and this is
he
really
can't
sad.
read.
He can
Literally.
barely read, which is really sad here too.
Right.
And,
but I gotta say this scene in particular reminded me that unlike Arnold Schwarzenegger at the beginning of his career or Jean-Claude Van Damme, who basically couldn't act, they were themselves. Sylvester Stallone, in his first two big movies, this is his second big movie, really, after maybe The Lords of Flatbush qualifies as his first, but if you wanted to say Sylvester Stallone can't act, watch him with that caveman outfit on with a club over his shoulder in that cage. That's Sylvester Stallone being unable to act. And he's acting.
Yeah. And he's
to be able to do that. So, yeah, because this is not John Rambo and this is not any of the other characters that he's played. And it was just reminding me that even early in his career, he could act. I mean, he might not have had the range of Laurence Olivier, but he could act.
Oh, yeah. No, he had it. He absolutely had it.
Like a relaxed brain, but I ain't punchy.
You really do believe? No, well, he has the believability. Like if I didn't know who Sylvester Stallone was, I could have sworn this guy totally had this reading issue and this way of having these super on the nose jokes and being a socially awkward guy that's slowly opening up more to the world and embracing success in the most, I guess you could say, optimistic way possible, rather than being all out of control about it. I could have swore he was like that. I could have swore, and I'd say maybe some slivers of him, do come out through this movie because he does, have stuff he actually owns, like the pets, as we all know, he's had people he's related to take part in the movie. So I guess slivers of the Stallone-ness are in this movie, but overall, you could have sworn this was him because how well he acts the part.
The line there that just it didn't show it was when he says, "Yeah, well, was you ever punched in the face 500 times a night? It stings after a while, That was just after that.
That reminds me of that line of Paulie Creed. I'm glad you mentioned that. It reminds me of the line of Paulie Creed said earlier when they're at the hospital in the wheelchair. He's like, "You got lucky." Says, "Do I look lucky?" And I was like, "That's a good line."
How's your face, Paul?
Another great line.
Face?
Yeah.
It hurts. I wouldn't want it.
And then the reality of having to really work, all those people that, work their asses off so we can eat every day too, right? The truckers and the butchers or whoever, is really, and you can see how rough this work is. And he's kind of depressed while doing it, but he still works his ass off. And then he gets kicked again because this is the 70s. So things are going to hell in the country and they got to cut his hours and, they got to lay him off, even though he's a low man on the totem pole. He even says, I'll do it for less money. He's like, no, you can't. Union rules. So he's really down at this point.
Yeah, the guys making the commercials, I understand why they did it in the script, but they would have. I'm not claiming they would be the most understanding guys, but they would have made it work, whether he could read the lines or not. They would have just filmed 10 different bits of it and edited it together. So the fact that they were like, get this guy out here, he's not professional, they wouldn't have done that because there's money at stake. They would have just got through it somehow, Right. So that was a little bit unrealistic, I thought.
And look at that. He's still using all the pickup lines, even though they're married. Yeah. He's still using them. Because most guys, they dial back on that. And he's just like, I'm just going to say it just as much. And they're going to be even cheesier. This how I'm going full brie cheese on this one.
Take note, guys. Yep.
Yeah. Take note, gentlemen.
Realize that Hillary Clinton did a cameo in this movie. She was just in that a few scenes ago. The side of beef.
A murderous side of beef.
Yeah.
Oh, Soul Assassin's got a question. Hey, nice gunslinger avatar. Says Soul 70s. 1,000 subs. Would you wear a silver suit like Rocky?
Damn right I would. Which one do you want? The light blue one? Do you want the tiger one? The leopard skin outfit? Whatever you want, so.
This is the 1970s. That light blue suit is made of double knit polyester.
Powder blue, I believe.
By the way, Che asked a good question earlier if anybody remembers Jean-Claude Van Damme in what was that movie called? Breaking? Breaking.
I don't remember that one.
Dancing in the movie.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I do not. And I'm a big Van Damme fan. I do not recall that.
I'm
I'm sure his martial arts made to look like
Good.
dancing.
Hey, I hear you're a Van Daminator. What's going on with the Van Damination?
Paulie's on top here too. It's like
Yeah,
he's offering
Paulie
Rocky money,
really-
and he's
Paulie
He's a hustler.
really
He's a
now
hustler.
Paulie went from like the really overly pushover brother to now he's a man on top of his game. You know what? And all it took was for his sister to leave the place, realize, okay, now I'm on my own. I have to step up since I'm on my own now.
He's a
So
hustler.
I don't have
man.
I don't have an excuse now. Now he doesn't have an excuse to fall back on because he had an alibi, obviously, and it obviously drove him crazy because we saw how he was with alcohol and how he handled taking advantage of living with the sister, expecting her to just clean up because he's the one who's doing the job. So he took advantage of that. He got overly cocky with that. So yeah.
And can you believe Burt Young is still alive?
Burt Young,
Oh,
right?
Yep.
Burt Young is still alive.
He
and
looks
going.
good.
He was
love it.
Rodney Dangerfield's best friend in one of his films. Back to School. That was it. Fucking love that. I love that movie.
It's like Chuck Norris. Under this face is another Lemmy face. That's all that there is.
It's just an endless row of masks that look the same face. Yeah.
It's like an action figure. You can change the heads, right?
Oh, hey, commenting is dangerous. Long time no see. How you doing, sir? Welcome. Hey, who the hell's that?
Yeah.
Who is that? You know, come on, is that Mickey? And I guess no, that's something we I guess we could touch upon because he's so like in the, I guess you could say, the high of his marriage. It kind of like dumps him down on as a boxer. So he's at an all-time high as being a lover, but he's the reverse as being a fighter because his mind's so invested in the marriage and saying that he was done, he's not doing it again. Apollo can talk all he wants about it. So now you see him, he's like, yeah, obviously he also has a sight issue too that still has some issues basically. So you see he's not up to snuff in the physical like sense. Like he's in lover mode. He's in full on lover mode because he can't do it. He's not competent. And you obviously see it when he does his first bits of training when he decides he's going to fight. He doesn't have that spark. He doesn't have the drive. He doesn't have the fire because he's so buried down by the burden of, I made her mad type of thing. And now I'm dealing with that as she's pregnant too. So the timing is obviously just atrocious. Oh, here's the one.
See how toxic it is? His wife is bringing him down.
His wife, yeah.
This is a good scene.
I love to see because you see his manager and the team are all struggling with how to talk with him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Duke really doesn't want him to do this.
Him.
He's all wrong for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
You beat you beat that man near to death. Yeah, and he kept and he kept coming back.
It's not good for us, man.
Yeah,
that's a
That's
great.
not what you
That's
want.
the great direction there too with that shot. Like, it's a nice shot.
And you know that if you've ever really watched or followed boxing, this is a conversation that I'm sure happens all the time with boxers and managers and promoters. The boxers want, they want the right fight for their next fight. They want the guy that they can beat, but that will put on a good show and let them showcase something.
Oh yeah.
And so the idea of
they want the ratings too. They want to get the attention. They want the right type of promotion to get the rivalry going, the right story, the right build up, the right setup. Oh yeah.
But it's very common because I do know that the vast majority of boxers are right-handed. There are very few left-handed boxers, and there are very few boxers who are happy to be fighting a left-handed boxer. They don't want to. And left-handed boxers historically have had a hell of a time getting fights because nobody wants to fight them. They don't spend enough time. They can't find sparring partners that are left-handed. They just can't get the experience. So they're like, oh, why would I take a fight with this guy? who might, get lucky and hit me from an angle I don't normally have to see coming.
Well,
so yeah, that conversation rang true for me. And
maybe Bat Tom might have an answer to that. I don't know if he does, but Bat Tom,
I was summoned. I didn't know you were watching one of the greatest films of all time. The manly film, Rocky 2. The one where Rocky buys a tiger. I was inspired by this. And I mean, Bruce Wayne was inspired by this, I heard, to buy an actual tiger. Didn't work out well for him, I guess, in the end, but lost a couple of Robins, but yeah,
there's a round robin. You lost
Jason
round robin
Todd,
1.
Timothy, whatever. I don't fucking know. There's a bunch of them. Dick Grayson.
It's a bunch of Robins.
We don't need them all. Bring in another Robin.
That's right.
You guys don't know this, but I'm actually on like my 17th Robin. I'm not kidding.
This one's done. Bring me another.
You guys don't know. I just keep switching them out. The one that's crippled is threatening to sue me, but I think I know a guy who knows a guy, Joker, who might be able to do something.
Oh my god!
Kind of take care of that problem for me.
Here's that promo. Perfect. Once again, as we were talking about retro, as mentioned with the whole promo, like this is how you get the rivalry set up to get people talking. Like, hey, come on, where's Rocky? Yeah, he's laying out the call out, and the fact that Rocky just happens to be so at home and the TV's on, he sees that commercial. Yep. That's how you get. He's like, oh great, he ain't gonna let this one go. He went from there ain't gonna be no rematch to,
and this is also
anywhere, anytime,
where he acts like Ali. This is very Ali.
This is full Ali. This is where Creed goes full Ali from here through the rest of the movie, pretty much.
Yep.
Brent Musburger.
I see Brie Larson's feet are in this.
No, those are Mickey's.
Hey, old Mickey.
They just look like Brie's feet.
Well, this is a line too where he says, Adrian, I don't ask you to stop being a woman. You can't ask me to stop being a man. Yeah.
Oh, now see, I was gonna say that counts as a toxic line.
Coming up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, coming
That's
up.
toxic,
yep.
yeah.
I've
There's
got
more toxicity here than in Rocky 1.
I've got to say that the call out to Muhammad Ali would have been perfect if they'd actually gotten Howard Cosell to call this fight.
Oh yeah,
at ringside.
Balboa is in the ring.
I don't know whether they asked. I didn't even think to look for this, but can you imagine how much extra verisimilitude this fight would have had in this movie if they'd had Howard Cosell with his god awful rug sitting at ringside calling this fight?
Maybe they should have just got Weathers and Stallone to actually fight for real for the world heavyweight title.
Here comes the Prince of Punch, the Thing of Pain, the one and only, the Master of Disaster, the King of Sting, the Count de Manifesto himself. That's right, the Dancing Destroyer, Apollo Creed.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Batman.
Yep.
You just call me in a bad angle. There's nothing to
Got
see.
enough names there. This
to
one
see
does
here.
have one of my favorite Rocky lines in it, where they're like, "Hey, Rock, you ever think about investing in condominiums?"
Yeah, we brought that up.
I never use them. You suck.
I love that fucking line.
It never gets old. And here we are. Once again, it's continuously great scene after great scene, because this is where we see
Rocky 2 is
Creed.
amazing.
Creed is all about, I want to lay the smack on this guy. I hate that he got as lucky as he did. He made me look bad in front of the entire world. We're gonna play at Hopefield so I can make him look like a fool at home. And Rocky's just all happy, talking about his home life, making it about like he's connecting with the people as he's talking, and all the lines he says here to all the questions. Every response was great. Yeah, see, I'll take a couple of hats and motorcycles and stuff for Adrian,
It's funny because although
Muppet Toys,
Rocky's not doing this with malice, but it drives Apollo even crazier that he's not taking it as seriously as he should.
Yes.
Even though he's not doing it deliberately. It works.
Yeah, he's not even doing spite. That's just who he is, and that's why people love him. He's just seriously he's the people's champion.
He's great.
Yes.
Derogatory. He's great. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. I love it. Paulie gets a snow cone machine.
He's very
Paulie,
Yes.
Because that's why this movie works. Because the writing is just so well done. I mean, it's the obvious setup, right? But if if the script sucked, yeah, that's another great line, right? I mean, it's just that, and Burgess Meredith kills it in this scene here, going after Rocky, and getting you're gonna get the training scene, and they do a great variation of that, so you don't get the same exact scene, but it's a great setup here. And of course, he doesn't have a VHS, right? It's an old school 8mm film they're playing there.
Right,
projector, yeah.
and Burgess Meredith, I mean, his obviously his part is bigger here than it was in the first movie, because he didn't want anything to do with Rocky in the first movie for quite a while. But he is the first person to say to Rocky, let's do this. And that's a shift, because he was the guy convincing Rocky at the very beginning of the film, you're done.
Yeah.
You should retire. He smacks him in the face and says, you didn't see that coming, did you? But
like
he's so pissed off by Creed.
He's pissed off, but it's also the bug has gripped him.
Yeah.
The thought of it. It's gripped him.
Yes.
This is what they do. They're boxers. They're in boxing. Yeah.
That's
I just want to point out, this scene is just
He's
so
excited.
well. The photography on this is just beautiful. Coming out, he comes out of the darkness here, and he's coming.
Sly
to the
directed
light,
this one
symbolic-
too, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes,
Yes.
he wrote and directed this
I was
one.
gonna say he did all of them except for the first and fifth one, right? Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
see, the thing is, he wanted to direct the first film, and they gave him the money, but it was under the condition he could not direct it. They didn't trust him, and they
They didn't want him to be in it.
yeah,
They wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
buy
they
the
wanted
script
another
and
actor,
cast
Paul
somebody else.
Newman, so all these
Yeah.
other actors and shit. Yeah,
Dude, he looks like he's wearing a fupa right here.
Is that sweatsuit in the Smithsonian now? I wonder, did it disintegrate?
I wonder if that
This
disintegrated.
looks
That's
like
probably the
thermal.
one from the first film, and I'm sure it disintegrated at some point here.
it just
Okay.
looks like thermal underwear. It just
All right.
Yeah.
Fupa and all, I'm going to say, Mickey, and this is more my personal experience comes in, this whole like chasing animal thing is actually takes a lot of time to do. And I would know because I own a chinchilla. And dude, that chinchilla is so freaking fast.
So what are you
I thought
saying,
it's
32? Are you ready to fight Apollo Creed?
I had to chase after a chinchilla
Isn't
the
that
way
a
he
girl's
chases
dog?
a chicken.
Isn't a girl's dog? Don't girls own enchiladas?
I own a chinchilla, damn it.
Enchiladas?
And his
Enchiladas?
name is Odin. So he's badass. He's badass. And he's missing a toe too. So he's very metal like that. He's missing
Sorry,
a toe.
Odin. The joke was aimed at Nick, not you.
Does he shoot lightning like Odin? Yeah.
So you're gonna eat lightning and I got a crop done. Oh yeah, I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
Yeah, another great line, right?
Yes.
Okay, I see Bryant has a question. Says, do you think Stallone could have been in more great dramatic films? Dude, Demolition Man. That was dramatic. Very dramatic. He had some funny parts, but that was very dramatic.
Oh, I'm sure
Yes.
he could
It's
have,
an action
Brian,
film,
but
though. But
he knew where the bread and butter
Well,
was.
Yeah, he
Copland
wanted-
is a
it's
pretty
all about
good
money.
drama. Copland showed what he could do.
Oh, so trust
that
me,
was a good
I know.
movie.
I trust me. Like when I do like the run around game with mine. Oh, dude, he is fast. Like I mean, I can't say he's faster than a chicken because I've never owned a chicken. But dude, do not take. Do not.
What was the movie Stallone did with Kurt Russell?
Copland. Oh no, that
Oh,
was
that
Tango
Copland?
and
Cash.
Cash.
No,
Tango and
Copland
Cash. That's a
was-
Tango
comedy.
and Cash.
That's a comedy though.
So
It's a
he
great
played
comedy.
against Type, but he played against Type there
Played the smooth guy. Yeah.
because he played the smooth guy in a suit, and they had Kurt Russell playing the hippie type with the long hair and the beard. So yeah, that was another change of pace for him to be playing the straight laced one.
And First Blood has a lot of dramatic scenes too.
Well, First
Yep.
Blood is a real drama.
Yeah.
Rather than
Yeah,
just
it
an
is.
action movie. It's a drama.
Hi, Jack.
But I would think what hurts Stallone is just the sound of his voice and just being typecast
What's
too.
wrong
If
with
you're
it?
not gonna, yeah, what's wrong with it? I mean, you're not gonna, there's only. Do I want him doing Shakespeare? I mean, but
Right.
he knows, like you said, he knows what he's good at.
Yo,
too, so.
Hamlet.
That's very revealing. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm about tacos and crab thunder. Sounds like Taco
knew it
Hell.
well and stuff.
Hail Darius. Greasy.
And a lot of
Belly
people
full
don't
and
know
all those
that.
fancy words.
Oh, Abelgore is right. Don't forget about Nighthawks.
Nighthawks.
Also
That's a
nice.
good
Oh my
movie.
God, I love that
Rutger
fucking
Hauer.
Rutger Hauer.
Thank you,
Billy
Abelgore.
D.
We watched that
Hauer.
last year again. It's a really good movie.
But
Billy
going
D.
back to
Williams.
Stallone, his speech and everything was based off the fact that he had that, I forget what it's called, but it's basically a stroke as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And it impacted the way he spoke and also the way his face droops.
Yep.
So, okay, I gotta ask you guys amongst the panel here, which would you rather have? And we'll start off with Tom. Would you rather have Stallone's face droop or Forrest Whitaker's lazy eye?
Well, I already kind of have a face droop like Stallone, so I guess I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you for
killed
saying
Gary.
it while I'm
He
taking a
almost killed
drink.
Gary.
I'm about choked.
Red shirt. Where
I'm not
are
kidding,
you?
but yeah.
Would you want to do the
I-
lazy eye or do the droop?
Oh, I'm already pretty halfway to having that lazy eye as it is, so I'll just stick with that.
Mark, where do you at? Do you want to get lazy or you want to get droopy?
Yeah, lazy eye. We'll stick with the lazy eye. I'd rather be lazy, right? And just when you're old, you can just
Exactly.
sit back and watch Star
Watch
Trek
two
over
things
and
at once.
over. Yeah.
Gary, where are you at?
I'm the same, man. The lazy eye. Nobody wants that droop. That's from a stroke. Nobody wants that.
All right, 70s. Where are you at?
Can I have both?
Yeah.
You would want both, you crazy sketch.
I mean, why
You may.
stop at one?
Embrace
Despite the fact
70s.
that-
Embrace the healing power of and.
Exactly. Normally, I wouldn't do droopy, but in this case, I would take the face droop.
You just got to understand that that's considered handsome in Scotland.
Indeed, if I could get the rest of the package that Stallone has there too, in terms
Soul
of the-
Assassin. That's his answer. Which one gives me a shot with 80s? Talia Shire.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker doesn't.
You
normally
might have
get
a pretty good
ladies,
shot
so-
with now Talia Shire.
I mean, yeah. So no, who wrote that comment? Soul Assassin. I'm just saying she might be available. Just saying, you might have a chance. It's like that scene Dumb and Dumber. Like, so you're saying there's still a chance? There might be, dude.
One in a million.
Man. Yeah, well, one in a million.
One in a million.
And I was just reading something. I thought Stallone during birthday something had happened to him. So they used
Yes.
forceps.
Yeah, it was.
And that's
it
actually what
caused
caused the paralysis.
it was like a stroke the way it acted on his face.
Yeah.
And it's messed up. But the previous scene is one of the most pivotal moments in the film, where her brother confronts her at the pet store about how she's acting towards Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he actually says something that's from the heart, and it really blew my mind that of all the characters, Paulie's the one that kind of tells her, you need to stop treating him this way. And then, of course, that causes her to go into labor or whatever.
And then I was going to a coma, right? Yeah, no. So, and then Rocky feels real guilty here, too, because, if he was making a lot of money, she wouldn't be working, right?
He was just at the peak of arguing with Mickey. And all of a sudden, like it's one of those like when it rains, it pours, and they took advantage of that really well. It's like for everything to go wrong, we gotta have it all coming crashing down at once. And it's like him and Mickey are not getting along because he's sucking his training. Now his wife's having issues, and then you have it coming from out of nowhere moment with Paulie, which Gary's right. It's a great scene. You don't see
it's a
coming.
pivotal moment in the film for her character. That is the beginning of her arc. Mm-hmm. Bush said something. Where's Frank Stallone? He's earlier, dude, at the singing scene where they're doing the song again, the live, the fire.
On the garbage pail, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's way earlier, Bush.
Yeah.
And once again, I mean, bringing back to it being a bit of a love story, like you still see, once again, even though like they have been stressing each other out, which obviously is definitely comes to the territory of a pregnancy-based relationship. Like he ain't letting go. Even Mickey is just like, all right, dude, even I'm on your side with this one. Usually he's the one who wants him to be Stone Cold Steve Austin about everything. But now this is even where Mickey's conceding, like, okay, I got to stand by him for this one because obviously he really understands now. Mickey, I guess you could say even Mickey's having his moment here of progressing.
Yeah, he's got his character arc, and this is where we build to the classic 80s montage or late 70s. Because it's the resolution of her and him and the whole thing starts to come together, and boom.
Everybody's
montage.
growing in this one. Everyone grows
Yes.
really nicely.
And that's what I love, though. Like, the supporting cast is so important. They're all important. They all have their part. Like, even like once again, Apollo, because he's the boxer who has the opposite outcome of Rocky. Even like you got Apollo's wife and Apollo's management.
Well, they're fighting for completely different reasons too.
Yes. Oh,
And
absolutely.
even Duke, Apollo's
Tom.
trader, Duke gets a little bit more stuff, and you get to see a bit more out of him. You know. I like
Hey,
that.
Tom, you
Oh,
here?
absolutely. Oh, he's here. And
Because
before,
I wanted to ask Tom a question, because really, I believe that Rocky was the beginning of what we know today as the montage.
Actually, I think I'm sure there had to be earlier ones, but the first one that really comes to mind would be The Godfather.
What montage was in that? Where
maybe
you
you
have
could
the
say
newspapers, all the
Sicily?
deaths, all the
When he's in
Godfathers.
Sicily, or-
Yeah, both of them. They have where you have the newspaper montages and the death montages.
okay, yeah, I'm talking more of the
But like as far as like
the
training
classic
montage.
action movie hero montage.
I mean,
I don't
that
recall
kind of
one before this.
trope-ish kind of thing. I guess you could say that. Yeah, probably. I mean, I can't unless somebody else in the chat can think of one offhand. It definitely created a formula with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cue them
Yes.
when you're watching something today. You're like, cue the montage. You know it's gonna hit just about now, right? You know, it's
because he did it from the stream.
I don't
element
remember that
still.
scene in Rocky 2.
Well,
of major sports movies
Thanos
before
was
me.
there.
Thanos was here, and that would be the absolutely awesome RC from the NYC for $10. Says, what's up, Nick? What's up, panel? What's up, Jeff? Hope all are well. And RC, I hope you are even better, sir. Thank you for your very generous $10. You guys are nuts tonight. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but you guys are nuts. Hopefully, you all are enjoying this Toxic Tuesday edition. So. All right, so keep the conversation going. I think 70s was saying something.
No, I'm just trying to think of major sports movies, particularly of the 70s prior to Rocky.
I don't recall
Heaven Can
any of them
Wait.
just,
Similar
Brian's
montages.
song, all those. I don't recall the use
I can't
of the
think of a
montage.
specific.
I don't think it was a
like
montage.
that.
No, Heaven Can Wait is a sports film.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
God, I have to remind myself we
one-
were not talking about the Iron Maiden song from Somewhere in Time.
The
I
Mean
was like, hold
Machine,
up,
but
what?
I'm not sure there's a montage in that, in the Mean Machine.
well, the other one. I'm reading just the history of it. And they're saying
North Dallas 40.
Kolcholov, and then they're saying Battleship Potemkin really had the first.
Oh my
montage.
God,
But
Stallone
that's
looks
going
like
back to 25.
Jens Kidman from Meshuggah right here. Or he
I was
made
going to
that
say the
weird face.
montage couldn't have been a new thing. Like
No,
It had to
I
have
think
been
war
around for a
movies may
while.
well have had more than
that's
sports
probably
movies.
likely westerns even.
Yeah.
Like
It's a good way of compressing events into a short space of
Exactly.
times. It must have
Well,
been done thousands of times.
that's what I'm saying. Like westerns probably did. Musicals might have even done it. I'm sure it was kind of one of those things since the beginning of time. But this is one of the first times it kind of was used this way, and it definitely started a trend in the '80s. That's for sure.
What was your? I would love this question for everybody here. What was your favorite montage?
Tony
or four?
montage.
Tony
Two or four.
montage. Shut up, Tom.
Push it to the limit.
Rocky 4. Rocky 4. is
Rocky
my
2 or
favorite.
4, and Rocky
4.
and I can see 4. Maybe for my Eclipse 2. But here's where I'm going to defend 2, just because it's the subject of the movie. Because he does it right after the moment where Adrian awakens from her slumber and she says to win, and you feel what she says. It. You feel the power in that one word. She says, come up to me, like. And she says it, whispers to his ear, to win. And all of a sudden you feel the music kicking in. You feel that
swelling.
energy. You feel the energy with
How toxic is that? He needed permission from his wife to win.
That's right.
By the way, Tom, my favorite montage is the movie Real Science. Not Real Science. I'm sorry, the one with Val Kilmer.
Real Genius.
Ryan's onto something. Hey,
Yeah,
The Longest Yard. I was trying to think of the name of that.
Yeah,
film.
I just looked that up on IMDb.
Longest
Yeah,
Yard.
I think that
Burt
rang a
Reynolds.
bell.
Yeah.
And that was also the first movie to have the F word in it.
Which one?
The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard.
Love that movie.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, don't take your
Great
fucking
film.
head off.
Save that for Trivial Pursuit.
There you go.
Yeah. My favorite montage of the Rocky films has got to be the first one. It just set the precedent.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's
Mark,
also
the
very
most emotional
somber.
impact.
It's not like action oriented, or it's just somber. I love that in the first film.
Well,
So
just
we
the
got-
music and the "Gonna Fly Now"
build,
and
yeah,
you know
and
the
the
first
build.
going up the
Yeah.
steps and he can't make it, and then the second, then at the end it's that conclusion of him getting to the that whole thing. I mean, it's been emulated how many fucking times in movies and television shows and
Right.
everything. I mean, it's iconic. I mean,
And I mean, and the first movie was the one that created that image of him standing at the top of the steps. I mean, there's a statue there now.
Well, they moved
Right.
it, but it's still there.
But at
Okay.
the same time, talking about Rocky 2, I mean, it definitely stands up there with like The Godfather 2 as far as sequels go. I mean, people
Right.
don't usually give it enough credit for how
They
good
don't.
it is. And it is such a solid sequel in a lot of ways. It takes the characters forward. It's not a complete retread of the first film, even though he fights the same guy. I mean, there's totally different elements to it. It's a reversal of roles. You guys just brought that up too earlier. In the first film, it's Apollo who's not taking it very fucking seriously, remember? And in his not taking it seriously, this underdog who has the eye of the tiger and the hunger.
And the
comes
first
and
film is
goes the
really
distance
about
with the fucking
going the
champ,
distance.
right?
Exactly.
And then in this one, Rocky's the one who has a little bit more lackadaisy attitude in the beginning, and it's Apollo's like, "Fuck you, you're not taking this shit seriously," kind of thing, And yeah, it's a great kind of play on the whole idea, and the element of Rocky just at first kind of doing it out of necessity for the money, and then finally getting the approval from Adrian being that last push, like you just said, Nick. Like, yeah, it's a great film. It transcends the characters to a different place than they were in the first film, and I feel like the impact it had culturally is just as big as the other. I mean, it created this whole idea of this story can keep going on, and yeah, people make fun of the Rocky sequels, but I mean, tell me a more solid fucking franchise.
I don't know why they do. Tom,
Right.
Tom, that's the part that hires me.
So
Well, there's I think there's a certain elitism in looking down on Rocky and the Rocky movies because of the nature of his character, that he was from a poor part of Philly, and he's supposed to be the local guy who makes good. And there's Christ, I went to school with people who like this, for whom that would be the kind of thing they would just reflexively reject because it's not our kind, dear. But when you talk the cultural impact, I mean, think about this for a second. I was thinking about this afternoon. I was trying to think of another example, and I can't. Okay, so he runs up the stairs in the first movie. He does it again in the second movie with the kids this time.
I love it.
The city of Philadelphia puts a statue of him at the top of those stairs. How many other movie characters have had a statue
They
erected
tried to
in
get
their honor?
RoboCop. Did they ever get RoboCop in Detroit?
John Wayne one somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they got the wrong idea of that whole like picking on a character.
Yeah. But I mean, the
the
cultural, the
Just
cultural
wanted to say,
impact.
by
of this
the way,
was
there
huge.
is the film Newt Rockney, All American Hero, had a montage according to the internet.
And I was wrong. That I was mixing the Longest Yard up with MASH. Thank you for that correction.
That
Steven.
had the first F word.
Yes, yeah. But it was in the football scene. That's why I got it mixed up.
Yes.
Well,
It
one
was
reason
the character you can no longer say their name, I believe, and then the other guy was
starts with Spear.
yeah,
Yes.
and then you had Painless. I think he's the one who actually says the line, but yeah.
Well, the one reason I love the montage in 4 so much, I guess, because I remember going to see, I was too young to see Rocky, in the movie. I didn't go see that as a kid, a little kid. And
4 is
I
like
went to see
peak
Star Wars.
montage, though.
It's
right?
peak,
Like,
and then I was in high school. We're all working out. We all wanted to be like Stallone or Schwarzenegger. It was the
Well, you had Hearts
Cold
on
Wars,
Fire.
Hearts on Cold Wars raging, and the as much as you guys love that first one and all these are this one is so well done too. But just the Cold Wars going and just and like when he's in that scene when he's will go I'm sure we're gonna watch that someday. But you know, he gets the Soviet, you know, is trying to, the KGB guy can't keep up with them, and he's running, you know, running up the mountain, and he just goes back to basics, you know, versus, you know, the Soviet athlete is, you know, got all the modern science and the steroids, and Rocky's just getting it done. And you're like, how are they going to make this scene actually interesting again? And they actually, you know, they get it done. So that
Speaking of, that's how they
so
made
much.
this one more interesting. Is they got all the kids behind him and shit. He's popular. Like, this is great here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
man.
almost like
adds
the
to the
faster.
Yeah.
He's faster in this one. You can
This
see it.
is freaking As I like how like
'cause he's
as all the
sprinting.
kids are back him, he starts to get even faster. Like he starts to start even faster.
Yeah,
I'm watching this thing. I'm like,
sprint.
this is freaking peak heroism. Even though he's a sports athlete, but it's just like people look up to him like a hero. He's a neighborhood kid. He's one of them. He's literally one of the good guys, and
Which of
it
course
just
makes
feels like a
this film
heroic
toxic,
moment.
right?
No, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't part of this kind of happen on accident with like a bunch of the people following him, running him because they were filming the scene, and then just like, fuck it, let's just let it. And then eventually it's like this whole crowd of
If
fucking
that's
people.
a mistake, that's an
I don't know for
mistake.
sure. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
The second, third, fourth, fifth film, like they don't really give you a lot of. There's not a lot out there about the making of them, right? Like you can easily find tons of shit on the first film, but any of the sequels, you'll have a hard time finding a lot about the making of. So I haven't even checked the trivia. So
they did hire the kids as extras. Says 800 school kids were used as extras.
Oh,
in
okay.
the scene with Rocket. Yep. So they
That's
did.
so
I
bad.
thought it was like more of a thing or whatever, but yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some kids, you know, would, hey, let's get in on this action, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to be running up with Rocky? And then that the film, it's a great scene too, where like he's running and the kids are kind of keeping up with him, and all of a sudden he kicks in an overdrive and
Yeah,
he
that's
just
what the guys
takes
are
off.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just so well done when
Oh, they
when he
did
just
get their
takes off.
bronze RoboCop statue, according to Darius.
They're the bronze RoboCops. Yeah, no, dude, that's good. No, it's
How
just
many bullets did they have to pump into it?
It feels it feels like a hero moment because you see him now, like he's on the rebound now. He's now ready for the fight. He's now ready to take it to Apollo Creed at his hometown. It feels like he's almost defending his hometown because Apollo's out there. He's ready to face him because he wants to make him look bad in his backyard, basically. Which obviously like the joke during the pros, like, oh, I like that I get to walk 10 minutes down the street and I'm ready to fight. So it really does feel like a moment of heroism, seeing him rise to the occasion. Now, right when Adrian said to win, you felt the impact of that one simple word, and it's amazing how you just use one word and you feel the effectiveness, and you feel like you're everything just escalate from that moment on. The rest of the movie was just all adrenaline from there on out.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Tom, do you think what's on the statue? Do you think it says "You're coming with me, creep"?
Dead or alive, you're coming
Dead
with
or
me.
alive, you're coming with me.
No, it actually says I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, baby.
You are the disease. I am the cure. Oh, it's
Wrong
Cobra.
movie, creep.
Wrong movie, creep. I could use RoboCop in Chicago these days too. God,
Eternal Vigilance
We
model
lost
like this
we
these
lost
days.
Redshirt for a second. We lost you for a second.
You dropped
Redshirt.
out for a second.
Oh, I blacked. Okay, can you hear
blacked
me
out.
now?
Yes.
I blacked out. Yeah, I lost me for a second. No, can't have a male hero role model from Eternal Vigilance these days. The world in Hollywood is nuts. Well, I'll tell you what's interesting, because I mean, I was in my teens when these came out, and this was an unusual hero in the 70s. In the 70s, heroes were like Dirty Harry,
Yep.
or Charles Bronson in Death Wish.
That's a
They
good
were
point.
they were really kind of dystopian, and cities in the 1970s. I mean, this was a bad time for cities. New York, Chicago, Detroit. Detroit in the 60s was started its long decline because of the riots in the 60s. By the 70s, Detroit was already, not a place people, but that was when everybody was getting the hell out of Detroit. So this was a very positive movie, and I think that's part of the reason Philadelphia adopted it. And it's hard to explain to people today who didn't understand just how toxic the 70s were. I mean, and I'm not even talking about double knit polyester leisure suits. The bombings, the terrorism, the unrest, the riots, and everything else that happened that was ruining cities. And it was and America. I mean, then Vietnam ended, we lost, and all of that. Right. And we had those iconic images of helicopters evacuating people from the roof.
It was worse than losing. We surrendered.
Well,
yes.
I think I brought a lot of this up last week, if I'm not mistaken. If I didn't, it was some other context. But yeah, like how basically that's how Rocky was different, because you were right. You're completely right, Redshirt. Like at that time, America was very cynical. Like we had just come out of an era of, like, Nixon, you just said, civil unrest, Nixon, the war, all these movements and riots and all this business. The movies reflected the times. And I said those exact titles you just said: Death Wish, Dirty Harry, all that shit.
Fort Apache, the Bronx,
all that stuff.
You must have inspired me, Tom. I apologize for stealing
it. No. You're 100% correct, and that's the thing is because, like, Rocky was the first of those films that was a bit more inspirational, and that was my point for bringing it up last week. Is the film didn't start out that way, because the original script was a much more dour, down, of the time type film, because that's what the studios wanted. They thought that's what the people wanted, but Rocky kind of sprung into existence this thing that was kind of started with Jaws, and then it was perfected with Star Wars. And you have Rocky right in between those two things that I feel like is the perfect bridge that people forget about. And it is so perfect that it happened right. It was like you had 75, you had Jaws, which recreated this idea that movies can be fucking fun, kids. Guess what? You can go to the movies, you can get scared, you can laugh, you can have a great fucking adventure, you can get into the movie. And then you got Rocky the next year, and Rocky is this uplifting story about this down and out guy who a lot of regular people could, and this is what I brought up last week, could relate to, because at that time, like you just pointed out, it was like a recession and everybody was poor, and especially people who didn't have as much to aspire to or look up to and felt like they were hopeless. When they went to see Rocky, they got up and cheered because they're like, yes, finally. And it didn't matter that Rocky didn't win. It was just the fact that he got a fucking shot.
Tom, right. Also shows the community spirit of the community he lived in. The small town within the big city.
And then you had Star Wars people relate to that, which was just like pure fantasy, right? Like, and it was like, we're going back, kids. This is what movies used to be about, right? And I feel like it was that natural progression right there that caused that. And Rocky was a big part of that.
Yeah. There's one other movie that came in that same period, Tom, that you guys may laugh at, but Smokey and the Bandit was a huge movie.
You're not wrong. People forget it because it was the second film of 77.
Was that 77? Yes. Oh, wow.
76, I thought.
No, it was 77.
But it's right in there. It's right in there. I mean, it was in the movie theaters for a year, so it was in the movie theaters probably in 77.
The only reason it wasn't the biggest, it would have been the biggest film of any other year had it not been for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That was the reason.
Star Wars stole its thunder. But the thing was that you had Sheriff Buford T. Justice as the dour, scolding government, and you had these two guys who were like, "Kiss my ass, we're going anyway." And
we're getting our Coors beer no matter what.
People just responded to that because they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, we can tell them to go themselves and get away with it, maybe. If nothing else, we could just watch this movie again." So, yeah, there were a number of movies that came out, and part of the reason I think they were huge is because they went against the grain of the times, and they said, you know what? Everything doesn't suck, and it doesn't have to suck forever. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those movies. This became a franchise because of it.
Yeah, you want Jimmy Carter forever.
But Mickey said that if only Lucas hired Soul for Star. Hey, Kenobi, what you talking? My dad wasn't a Jedi. Thank you, Soul Assassin. That was a perfect opportunity to read that. But I love too with this fight. I really feel like obviously like I like how if you notice there's a big upgrade with the robe for Rocky. Like he looks a lot nicer going to the ring. He looks more in style and. He definitely's got more flashier, a little bit more pizzazz.
Well, there's also better fighting choreography in this one too.
I love the fight in this. I like his.
Okay,
Wow.
pause
Wow.
that.
Bite 'em
That
there.
looks bad right there.
Yeah, go back to that. Yeah,
I can't quit you,
And
Apollo.
Apollo is still the hero. Though. Apollo is still the hero.
I
Though.
love you.
break it up here. These guys are in
I
love.
love you too, Rock.
What's that in your shorts? You're
Hey,
displeased to see
Oh
me?
my God!
tip.
What are you
Give me
doing?
the tip.
That's my special purpose.
It's true what they say about you guys.
Took me
I'm
forever to
always
just
said
get that
I'd
right
find out
that
someday
shot
what
just
my
like
special
that.
purpose was all about. I didn't know it was going to be with Apollo Creed.
Can we be friends after this? Yes,
Adrian,
we
I'm
can
not
do it.
coming home, Adrian.
I'm coming now.
We got to put this picture in Gildan and ask everyone to capture it.
Yeah.
Caption it.
Someone
Thank you,
please clip this
you
from
go.
You
Gildan.
better bring it up there.
Yeah.
Already
Good
captured.
comic relief. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's all good. I just came. Whoa.
Oh my God! Do not come.
I did. I can't help it.
I'm gonna come, Rock.
Wait till
I'm
after
gonna
the
come.
fight.
I'm gonna come, Rock.
I already came, Mick. I can't help it.
Better use your condominiums.
I don't
That's
use
right.
it.
That's right.
I guess I'm going to start.
I don't know where to finish either.
Amen. And once you go black, you don't go back. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Seriously, anyone who's on my Gildan, if you're not, please just clip this shot because this is just perfect.
You never know what kind of fun we'll have on Tuesday night, right?
Yeah. Oh my God!
That's
such a
not just the
dildo.
tip there, Apollo.
Yeah, just the tip.
So much girth, Rocky.
It's true what they say.
Okay, it's definitely in there. It's definitely in there. I don't have to question if it's in yet. It's there, guys. I can feel it.
There wasn't much foreplay either. It was only still in the first round.
Hey guys, this is my Gildan. Please join. And yes, post all your wonderful comments there as well. And as Tom likes to say, fuck you, Gildan.
Hey, yo, fuck you, Gildan.
I have something Rocky on.
Repent, Tom. Gilded is your Lord and Savior. Repent before it's too late.
Nick Wise the ref is like breaking up. We know how mad we captioned this. And then TZ Burton for $2 says Rocky is excited about joining Gilded.
I heard it's the Lord and Savior.
I don't know, Brian. I don't know. Well, hopefully, maybe. I like to be optimistic, so I'll say maybe one day. Oh my God, you told me you're not like This is the rest
He's
of the
a
panel.
very gentle lover.
You're very smooth, Apollo. I can feel that. You got a touch to you. I like the way it feels.
You know, sometimes when we touch,
May I dance with your date?
I feel like you're locked in. No, I just need a shoot and load. I mean unload. Fuck. It's suddenly Toxic Tuesday.
We need to get there eventually, right? Yeah.
Demonetize.
I can't believe I came for this.
Oh.
okay, we can play now. I think we're past
Okay.
We can move on.
I think we're done now.
All right.
We're finished.
It's been played out.
Or you're finished in more ways than one. Okay,
I'm
let's move on
finished,
for this
Apollo.
shot. Okay. Oh, that comment does not help.
Do I
That
leave
one
the
comment
20 on
after
the dresser,
what's a
or-
good hand followed by a left hand. That was not a good way to follow that up. Oh, my face hurts. Yeah, but I need
Coming back at him. Okay.
It doesn't hurt me.
That's right. That was the line.
Okay. No, seriously though, like I love the fight in this. Obviously, but like besides the fourth card, you feel the extra like tension. Like you feel like, okay, now these guys know what they're about, and you can tell like Apollo, he's he is a desperate man. He's out for revenge, and he's dishing it harder to him. He's trying to make him hurt more. He wants to make him suffer for making him look like shit at times at that first fight. Even though like Apollo dished out a lot to him that first fight, the fact that Rocky just took it all. When Rocky did dish it, he felt that. He felt that shit, and he felt utterly embarrassed and to some degree even humiliated, because when he's got his fans and the neighborhood from his era and like his own management team all questioning like how he performed that fight. Yeah, he obviously he was poised. He wanted that. He felt like he needed this win more than Rocky to redeem himself, even though he was just the nobody. It's amazing how a heavyweight champion can be so desperate to win against a nobody. The irony.
Now that scene that just happened is when Apollo Creed, as the bell rings, pushes him by the back of the head. Yep. And it's like an insult. And Stallone's character, Rocky, like almost loses it on him.
Yeah, because now Stallone can't play nice. And I was like, all right, fuck this guy. He wants to play his game.
This time it's personal.
Yeah.
Yes. Apollo is reduced to cheating. There's one segment where he wraps his left glove around the back of Rocky's neck and is punching him.
Yep.
That is a foul in boxing.
Yes, it is.
That can cause a point deduction. So he's gotten under Apollo's skin so badly that Apollo is resorting to dirty tactics.
Yeah. No, he that's how desperate he made him. Like this guy who's a heavyweight championship of the world, he's the last person who should have to be resorting to that. You would actually make it think it would be Rocky who would resort to those tactics, but nope, it's Apollo. Though once again, that's why I love the irony of a lot of the things going on in this fight is that's something you would expect from Rocky, not Apollo, only just because that's the champion versus the
ego
nobody.
getting the better.
I love this. The mobsters telling him, get up.
Yeah, get up.
Yes.
I bet on you this
money
one.
on you, motherfucker. Get up.
His old boss. Yeah. I was surprised his old boss was as sanguine about letting him walk away from his job that as he was. Like, all right, you do what you got to do. I'm like, that's not what I've ever heard about the mob.
Yeah, I know. Blood in, blood out, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, seriously, Rocky, he took it all and he came back for more. And once again,
oh my god, this is great when he throws him into the corner.
Yes.
He unleashes hell right here. I love it.
Yeah, he reaches out his arm and he just throws him. Hey, throws
I'm
him
still
back
here.
in the corner.
I'm standing here.
I still got it. You know.
Yeah,
Mickey,
man.
This? I love. He pounds away too.
In his comeback, George Foreman in his comeback did something very similar to that to a guy who'd been giving him absolute shit prior to the fight, during the fight,
was that
taunting and teasing him.
Was that before this movie? Because I bet it had an impact on this movie.
Actually, no, it was not before this movie. It was after this movie. But George was so angry with this guy, it became personal for him that he had the guy essentially out on the ropes, and the guy started to slide off to one side. He was going to fall over. And I was watching the fight. George Foreman stuck his glove under the guy's armpit and straightened him up so he could hit him one more time.
He could hit him some more. I love it.
Yes. And I mean, that's when it becomes personal. Yeah, when it becomes personal to a heavyweight, you go to the hospital afterwards. Because holy shit.
If he dies,
he's been run over by a truck.
Well, yeah, these punches there. If anyone took like one of these punches, you'd be dead and down for the count. I mean, it's so unrealistic, but it's just so much fun to watch. I mean, it's like watching pro wrestling. In the beginning, Rocky
put his hands up to protect himself.
Yeah, he never understood that.
Why doesn't he do that?
Yeah,
well, Stallone always wanted to put that realism in. I mean, it got him almost killed in Rocky IV when he told Dolph Lundgren to really hit him in the chest, and he ripped his aorta to his heart.
Yeah.
Sent him to the hospital.
That's how strong Lundgren was back then. So
yes.
I'm sure they were both on
Lundgren's
roids
a powerhouse.
But yeah, but when we've all watched boxing or MMA, and it's any one of these punches that you're not protected that hits square on. I mean, you see people go down, so it's totally unrealistic, but it's so much fun to watch. And Weathers is just so cut and huge in this movie too.
He
so
looks great.
He looks better than Rocky, so it makes it even more believable too that
I'm telling you,
these guys are going at it.
Oh God! All right. Makani draws for $10. Says, congrats on the monetization, Nick Wise. Well, thank you, Maki. Dude, I can't wait to see you up here with me on the stand. We're going to be shouting and winning together. It's going to be great, Makani. See you at 1,000 and monetization, sir. And keep up the great work. Dude, once again, there's that face again. Oh,
yep.
God, he's got the face. He's got that Forrest Whitaker going on right there.
Yeah. I hit him so hard he became Forrest Whitaker.
Hey, Forrest, are you looking at me or are you looking over there?
So it's Droopy versus Forrest right now then. Droopy versus Forrest right now. That actually makes sense. I see. Yeah, Droopy v. Forrest. Dawn of Bad Faces. I don't know what the movie would be called. I'm just trying to think of what would be called if it was Droopy versus Forrest Whitaker, but I don't got none. Just know it'd be funny to laugh at. That's all. I got nothing creative on that.
Dawn of the Fugly.
Thank you. Dawn of the Fugly. Yes, I'll take it. Dawn of the Fugly. Yes.
Fugly 2.
Fugly 2.
Sequel.
Lightning, thunder. So what you eat and what you crap, basically.
Yeah. Right. This man is breaking you up inside. Now stick and move.
Out of context, that sounds very bad.
Yep. And that's another time that Apollo's ego gets the better of him because he doesn't. Yep. He's got this fight.
His corner's telling him. He's
got this fight. Yeah, he's got the fight. He's got the fight completely won on the cards. All he has to do is stay away from Rocky for 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. Just keep jabbing at him for 3 rounds, and he wins the fight. He doesn't even have to win the last round, but he won't. He's going to war.
His ego
demands it, and that's Rocky's last chance.
Yeah.
Because Rocky wouldn't have had a shot. It would not have had any shot if Apollo had fought this fight the way a real champion fights in a championship boxing match, because that's how you become champion. It's how you stay champion. You fight intelligently. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't. He gets the better
fights
of
emotionally.
It.
He fights with
Exactly.
He's leading with his emotions first. And even though he was taking he took both fights seriously, but the first one he was definitely more in control of himself, even if he didn't see the surprise of Rocky coming. This fight, he let it consume him. He could see overall throughout the movie, throughout the story, it just built up, and now he's unleashing. And he's not unleashed in the good way. He's unleashed in the uncontrollable way.
Well, it's not good enough that because the first fight he won, and that's what he complains about. I didn't beat him. I won. Yeah. I didn't beat him. And that's what this is all about. He wanted
the first 3 rounds. That's what he wanted. He wanted him to go down early.
Yep.
He wanted him to go down in the second round. He said 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Yeah, that's
the rounds are 3 minutes long. So his prediction early on was he'd knock Rocky out with a minute to go in the second round. Mm-hmm. And even, Mickey tells him, you make it through this first round, we've got him. And Mickey was right. And he did. And that was it. I mean, he needed to survive the first round, and I think going to get the better of Apollo. Oh, did I go away again?
For a teensy bit. Go ahead. Just go ahead and say it
again.
My
internet's giving me it's giving me my usual problem. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, dude.
I mean, I don't know. I can't credit Mickey with foresight seeing the fight, but he understood one thing about Apollo. Apollo wanted a quick victory. Deny him that, and you've already gotten inside his head.
Yep.
And so that was a key strategy for the fight that Mickey tells Rocky. survive the first round and we're in this fight. Because he's going to be more and more desperate. And he was.
Yeah, no, that's spot on, Red Shirt. I really could not say any better. And yeah, it really makes for the rest of this movie a very entertaining fight, because it really does feel like it's a brawl 'em out, like winner take all. Like, this is it. Like, you really do feel the energy with the crowd. It's almost like you're part of the crowd. I feel like I love how, because that's a hard translation to do when you have to say, okay, I'm just the kid watching this as a movie at home, whereas here you got, like, you want that, the movie needs to channel that energy. That's the crowd of all the thousands there rooting for Rocky. Like, that's a hard translation to do, because they got to get that audience mindset. But I think the power of the fight and the music itself and all the emotions that were at stake add into a big giant, like, colliding, like, force of, hey, this is it, and all of a sudden, boom, you feel it. And yes,
This is
he
after
can go all the way.
he switched back to Southpaw here already.
Yes.
The final round. Yep.
Yeah, because Mick yells at him, "Now, do it now!" When he switches, it's great.
And that added a lot to the fight scene too. So there's a strategy there. So it's not just the same old scene, and he's trying to learn and become a better fighter. So that's what I loved about this too. And of course, in the movie theater, you're probably cheering. You want to cheer. You're going crazy cheering, and home you're going nuts to watching this. Even though he's going to win, but you're still cheering like nuts. So, and there's a little doubt there too, right? Like, maybe they'll do. Maybe he could lose, and but it's just such an uplifting scene too, because Creed's got the fight won, right? He doesn't have to do anything. He's just got to dance away from him. Like everyone's saying it. So and then it's just such a cool. The one thing I was waiting, I mentioned wrestling. I was waiting for like Elizabeth to come out, one of the wrestlers, the manager to come out and play some shenanigans, or I'm thinking of wrestling. Rocky, just put your arm on the rope, But it's just such a classic when they both go, down goes Frazier. They both go down at the same time.
In high school, my history teacher actually used Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 to teach a lesson about the Revolutionary War. And he said that the first film was the Revolutionary War, and the second film was the War of 1812, because we won our independence in the Revolutionary War, but we didn't get Britain's respect.
Right.
Is that why we burnt the White House in 1812?
Something like that.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it is.
You guys were Apollo Creed, motherfuckers.
And then we got you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the hero. Apollo's the hero.
They pulled kids out of school and told them to bring their rifles, and they fought off the British. They all got medals and rifles from Congress.
Unfortunately, there were too many Canadians in the British Army.
Oh, I forgot this. This is where they both go down.
Oh, I love this.
Right there.
The first one that gets up wins.
Yes.
The wrestling scene,
everyone in the cinemas.
It's one of those moments too where it's all theater. It's that moment in the movie where all the happens this whole I love those scenes. That's one of my favorite old school movie tropes.
It was a packed cinema I was in, and everyone was up on their feet. It was incredible.
They were standing up, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was up on their feet.
Get up! In the
theater. I'm just gonna do that.
Get up, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, I'd never seen it. I had never
Come.
seen audience reaction like I did watching this Rocky film. I remember in the theater how bad it got. People were getting up, getting so emotionally involved in the film. It was great.
Yeah, I miss that feeling in movies. Like, even though I've rewatched it a few times recently in the last few weeks, I still feel the emotion watching this. Well,
these classic movies do that, right? Like, it doesn't matter how many fucking times you've seen it. You still get.
I remember, Tom. It was very similar because, like, when Indy shoots the Arab swordsman, everybody got up and cheered in the theater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just there's so many scenes you could think of. Just none of them more from recent movies, but it's always classics. Like, the scene in The Godfather. No matter how many times you've seen it, you're still sitting there yelling at Al Pacino. You're like, Michael, drop the fucking gun. Drop the fucking gun. Drop the. Oh, thank God he finally dropped the gun.
Finally dropped
See,
it.
I'm different. I'm shouting at Sonny, don't go through the turnpike.
Yeah, don't go to the turnpike.
Yeah, don't go through the turnpike.
Nobody wants to go to New
wrong
Jersey.
with you?
Why are you doing this?
Don't pay the toll. Use your
and
easy
he's like,
pass. Go
he
right
told
through.
me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. You still get fucking chills, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the one thing
yeah.
I think recent movies that it's not as good as that, but close would be the Captain America scene reveal.
Yes.
And
when he grabbed
when he's on
hammer.
the subway platform.
Also, Iron Man doing the snap.
And
Well,
Thor's entrance too. I think.
I was gonna say Captain America getting the hammer, I think, was the closest I came to in a theater in a long time, probably since
Hold on,
Independence Day.
you guys are missing one.
In-
When
or
Thanos
Avengers,
stepped
maybe?
Captain Marvel in the face, my audience went off for
Timeless.
that scene. That
Well,
my
they did
audience
like that too, yeah.
exploded when that scene happened.
That's it. Rocky wins. Because he had a better grip on the rope.
just being in that movie theater.
He's shorter, so it's easier for him to get up.
Yeah, it's less distance, right?
Less distance to get up.
Oh,
Cue the Bill
Yeah,
Conti music.
Yeah, and the music makes it too. Without that music,
Yeah, I bet I would love to see these end scenes of Rocky without the music. They probably are funny as fuck.
probably suck, right? Yeah.
I did it, Adrian. I did it.
Now, I was
He's just
gonna
walking
tell you,
around
as
all
I
here, just
recall-
random crowd noises and shit. And he's just like, yeah, like a madman and shit.
It was
I'm
originally
blind
written
forever,
that
but I did it.
Talia Shire was supposed to be there. And because she was working on another film, they changed it to where she watches at the hotel or house, wherever they're at.
I did not know that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Hear that chat?
Yeah.
Little insider knowledge from Gary here. Thank you, Gary. That's
Somebody wants to do that. That'd be amazing. But I know some people. Have you ever seen those funny ones where they'll take and they'll do those sound effects and the voiceover themselves?
Yes.
Like Elvis and shit.
What are you doing? I'm sorry, guys. My dog's being a ham. What?
No, dude.
I would love to see the Rocky.
Look at her.
The Rocky
Look at her.
climaxes without the music would be amazing.
She's laid back on me and bending to the side like she's drunk.
No,
we got a request for Thanos from Shellback.
From Shellback.
Do it.
You know what? I'll do one. I'll do one charitable Thanos punch. All right, Shellback. You know when DMX is going to give it to you? Well, Thanos going to give it to you.
I got one prediction. Pain.
Good,
I
give
loved
it to
him
ya.
punching her. That's so awesome.
It's amazing how we've all seen that clip. We're
Hey.
probably literally on triple digits of how much we play that clip. It still doesn't get old.
It doesn't matter, right? It never gets old. It never gets bad.
Nope.
Never gets old.
I can't believe
Hashtag Thanos was right.
Yeah, see, it has that different ending because she's not there. So it's just him accepting the belt and this is for you or whatever he says at the end. I forget.
My God, my face looks like dog food, but I'm the heavyweight champion.
I want to say thanks to Apollo for fighting me.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he does say
Meanwhile,
Thanks, Apollo.
even though he gets slaughtered by Apollo, he's still thinking.
Yep.
Oh, that Rocky humor
I
and
love
spirit
yous
is
too.
still there.
I love you
I love you too. I want to God. I like Droopy and then Apollo's Forest. And then my kid was born too, on top of Forrest Whitaker being born. I mean,
That person in the background has the most unprofessional camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram.
That is not a photographer. That is just
That's
somebody
a-
that climbed up there going, I'm going to get a picture.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
weird cop helmet.
It's probably because it was like 2:00 in the morning and they didn't have any more extras, and he's probably some Teamster.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
outside the arena, there's a bunch of guys called the Black Panthers are waiting for Apollo to have a word with him.
Oh, and I love how she says this to the TV. I love you. I love you.
All right. The first chat review. Thank you, RC. Always love your contribution. Says a sequel that comes this close to equaling the original. I think I'm meant to agree with you there, dude. Toxicity 8 overall 9.5, and a sentient dildo is a 69 for him. Vince Womack says score 8.3 out of 10. Toxicity 3 out of 10, but an 8 out of 10 with the chat. It's because we made that one scene toxic where we had them two up close together with Stallone. That was what made the toxicity there. Thanks guys for your scores thus far. Yeah, I will see those wrestle scores, guys. Bring those scores going in. Bring them on, man. I'll read them all.
What's the score?
And and while he's talking, we'll let Tom sound off on the score first.
Oh wow. Great sequel. I mean, it's really tough to find any real faults in it.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like I've been sitting here the whole time I've been here. Sadly, I didn't get here till late, but thanks for having me just the same, but and allowing me to come in late. But no, I'm hard pressed to think of anything bad about the movie. Like really, like that sticks out to me as like a flawed aspect of it as far as sequels go, especially in this era, to be able to build upon what it did.
Roberto Duran.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that's all right. No, I mean, as far as a movie overall, it's really tough not to rank it right near the first film. So I got to give it like a 9 out of 10. It's not quite as good as the first film, but it's right there. Like, I mean, if we're getting to the like, if you want to zoom in, it's like more like a 9.5 out of 10, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because that's what I gave it.
Yeah, it's really close. As far as the toxicity goes, I would say this film's maybe even a little bit more toxic than the first one in certain aspects, because it's really about Rocky claiming his manhood in a lot of ways. I mean, motherfucker buys a tiger.
Dude, he buys a freaking tiger. He says, "Hey, let me be a man." So I mean, come on, you telling me that line? You be man, you be a woman.
I mean, so yeah, I'd give it at least a 5 out of 10 for the toxicity. I mean, he's still it's not like overly toxic or anything like that. But like, yeah, it's definitely not the type of film we'd probably see today. There would be a lot more of, well, we didn't get to see what Adrian was thinking. Like,
yeah, right.
That kind of shit. Like, it didn't have a good female perspective on the film. Maybe Rocky should have been bisexual.
And that's why you use the logic.
I'm coming, Apollo. On your back.
It wasn't made for you. That's so logic.
For my punches.
All right.
And I missed like a lot of the great stuff in the beginning. So no, I just wanted to say that,
go ahead.
No, I love Rocky too. It's a great film. Like all the stuff with him doing the commercials and learning to read, and again, like just the growth in the adding to the character, and you can really tell that Sly loved this character. Not just liked it. It wasn't just a paycheck for him. It wasn't just this. He genuinely loved.
Well, that's that from the first film too, because he fought so hard to be in it.
Well, that too, but I mean, at this point, it could have went, in all kinds of crazy directions, and he could have had Rocky fighting aliens and shit like that. That was even something that came into the equation at one point. So, like,
oh my God, what?
And there you go.
Way too much cocaine in Hollywood, man.
So yeah, that's my rating. Sorry, I didn't mean to dominate that first one.
Oh, dude, no, honest, you're good, man. I genuinely thought you had said your piece. I'm like,
I agree, Rob Altus. You're nothing without a tiger. That's right.
Okay,
that's the perfect way to end it.
If I can't be enough a man with the tiger, how am I going to be a man without it, Adrian?
All right. See, Rob Alta says toxicity 8 overall, 8.8. And then Zan Zoltan says 9.5 out of 10, toxicity 3. Good conclusion to the first movie. So good yin yang type of thing. Eternal Vigilance says great film and follow-up sequel, overall score 9 out of 10, toxicity 8.5. It never could be made today. The Jack of all casuals, I give it 4.5 out of 5 Italian stallion. Soul Assassin
you
says,
slip into that really well, dude.
I know I'll slip and slide, man. That's what I do. That's what heroes do. They slip and they slide. So Soul Assassin says, chat 9 out of 10 toxicity. Thank you. It's because of you guys. You guys were killing in the chat. The movie is 9.5 overall. A damn good film. And then Brian Yoder here says, men fight to assert dominance over each other. Father steals all the credit for child care. Woman's only purpose in the movie is to make babies and support a man. Toxicity 6 or negative 6, I think. Quality 9 out of 10. And then
I think he means
Shellback.
6. I think he does mean 6.
Yeah, he's kind of where I'm at. Like, yeah, they let Rocky be a man.
They did. Shellback 9.7 shells out of 10. And then Boosh here says 5 out of 10 for toxicity. Overall, 9 out of 10. And the Comic Relief Crusader says 2 fists way up. That's what she said. And Mark D with a C, why don't you sign off on your score?
Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, love this movie. You know, sequels a lot of times suck, and we're sick of them, but this is one, you know, series that defies that. So yeah, I give it definitely a 9 out of 10. Awesome movie. You know, there's great new storylines to this. You know, the characters all grow. You know, not totally toxic, but some stuff that would be out of place today, like when they're going to look at the house and the real estate agent says, "Oh, Mrs. Balboa, let me show you the kitchen." You know, that would be, you wouldn't have a line like that today, right? You know, show the woman the kitchen, or you know, Rocky says, "Let me be." You know, you've got. I'm not asking you to stop being a woman. You've got to let me be a man. You know, so there's a lot of traditional roles in here that maybe would be considered, you know, toxic or problematic today. But it's, you know, I think that's all a bunch of BS, and it's just a great love story, great training montage, great scenes. You just want to cheer for this guy. I've been seeing this movie probably for the 10th time. I need a montage, and you want to cheer for him, and then he makes you want to work out again after watching this movie. So maybe I'll get my ass into shape after watching all these Rocky movies again. But yeah, they're fun movies. They're not, you know, they're back to basics, classic movies that we don't get to see that kind of stuff today, unfortunately, that often. So yeah, and Stallone. Yeah, I think he's underrated. You guys are all right mentioning how he directed, he wrote this. You know, he's the full package, and unfortunately, he gets kind of stereotyped, and they do make fun of Italians in this movie.
Well, he kind of helped that by doing the action thrillers. But the fact is, you know, he's an actor because the first major film he does on his own, he gets a fucking Oscar for it.
Yeah. And I'm you know, more than half Italian, so I can say, like, you know, some of the lines, and it's like, oh, I've never seen so many Italians in one place in my life. He really does a great job, and you know, making that a positive. But you know, people do kind of, you know, tend to make fun. But I think he really shines in the series. You know, even the next movie. Oh God, I love the next movie too. So
Rocky,
they keep getting, they keep getting.
In a few weeks, we'll be doing that one.
Yeah.
I think, because let me look at the calendar here, because which we'll be saying next week's movie in a few minutes. So next week is next week's movie. Then the week after is May 24th, which we're going to take that Tuesday off because I'm going to go see Top Gun Maverick because I got my advanced screening, and then May 31st will be Rocky 3. So Tuesday, May 31st, the day after Memorial Day, to be specific, folks, will be Rocky 3. So we'll say what next week flick is, though, after we do all our roundups. And Jack of all casuals, to answer your question quickly, I hit 1K, and then they nuked a bunch of the subs, and I've been gaining subs back. And when I had originally had the original 1K, I applied for monetization immediately, and
started the process. That's right.
Shockingly, they apparently, once you apply, you're immediately applied. And I thought when they nuked the subs that they are gonna take away the application, but apparently they didn't. So it's all good though. I mean, we're right back at 1,000. Like I said, I hit 900 subs 3 times. If I got hit 1K 5 times, let's do it. So, anyways, no,
you'll do it.
Oh, I will.
It.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And now, 70s. Why don't you sign off on your scores?
I don't know whether Stallone wrote the first movie and the second movie together, or whether he just wrote the first and then the success meant him writing the second. But they fit so well together as a pair that he almost could have written them back to back as one story.
That's how they play back to back.
That's how they play it. And that's how I first saw them, one after the other, in a cinema immediately after. And it worked so beautifully.
They complement each other.
Absolutely. And as Tom said just about everything I would have said. It's virtually as good as the first one, if not as good. I think it's a little more toxic. I'd probably give it 6 out of 10 toxicity, because it's very much the male experience, a lot of it, which wouldn't go down so well today. And the fact that they've got those unbridled homoerotic scenes in the ring right out in front of the crowd there. You know, I mean, it's right out there. I think I'd give it 9 out of 10, the movie. But I'd give the Tiger Jacket 10 out of 10 on its own.
All right. Anything else, sir?
No, I just absolutely love it, and this and the first one are just timeless classics that I will watch for the rest of my rather short life.
Come on, 70s, you got to say it. If it's not Scottish,
if it's not Scottish,
Susan,
it's
I did it.
Except for Rocky 1 and 2.
I that's a good one, Boosh. I get monetized. Yo, Mama Susan, I did it. That's good. And yes, that Tiger Jacket was next level. So is that it? 70s.
I think that's all from me.
Okay.
That's all she wrote.
Okay, cool. That's all.
I give that a review, about a 9.
All right, Gary, sound off.
Oh, I just did. I was giving a
That's
review
it.
of his
That's
review.
it. That's your blunt and straightforward.
Review of the review.
I was reviewing the review. Look, the film was very well written. Stallone really knows what he's doing when he's telling a story. He understands characters, and this character, like Tom said, he had a love for this character. And as far as the story goes, I absolutely give it a 9.5. As far as toxicity, the film is really kind of balanced in how it uses traditional values versus romance and love and family. And the moment, though, that I feel really gives me a push towards the toxic levels is the fact that he asks, he doesn't demand, he asks for her to not prevent him from being a man, which I thought was nice, but really he was going to do it. And it was that simple. So I give the toxicity level about a 7 because I think it was very tempered. And overall, I want to add that for sequels, as far as sequels go, I give this one a 10 because it's a solid sequel, and it doesn't get the credit it deserves as a sequel.
It doesn't. Seriously, like Stallone doesn't get credit. The movie as a whole doesn't get enough credit. But yeah, I'm assuming that's your piece then on that.
That's it. I'm done.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
Adrian, hey.
All right, we got a few more here. Bush said it felt more heartfelt and toxic, so 5 out of 10. And not no mas says I have to give it a 5 out of toxicity for no boobs, 8.5 movie. You guys are funny. And Mr. Brian Yoder coming in. Coming in hot for $10 with Yo Pizza. Oh my God, Brian, Yo Pizza. I ate it. Yo Pizza, I ate it. Thank you, Brian, for the $10. Man, you guys are actually crazy generous tonight. Thank you, seriously, so much. I always question the wordiness, but seriously, thank you. Red shirt.
All right, this is one of the best sequels in movies that Hollywood's ever done. So it's got to be at least a 9.5 for the movie itself. With the exception of a couple of people, like the real estate agent. If you watch this movie only up to the point where Adrian wakes up and tells Rocky win, this could be a chick flick.
Yeah.
So, there are those exceptions, but they just make everybody else look better. So I can't go above a 6 on toxicity for this because it is such a love story for so much of it. And then finally, Rocky's got his people behind him. Mickey, Adrian, Paulie, everybody's going, beat him. And he goes out to do just that. And that's the final act of the movie. It's a great movie. It cemented this as a franchise. They could have made any number of crap movies, and we would all be saying there are 2 Rocky movies if they hadn't made another good one. So no, it's a fantastic movie, not horrendously toxic. There are some wonderfully toxic moments. Yes, let me show you the kitchen is definitely that was a moment. I was like, yeah, this is why this movie's on Toxic Tuesday.
But the laundry room next.
Yes, but Mickey, Burgess Meredith in this movie makes this movie. I mean, I'm so glad that Sylvester Stallone wrote him a bigger part and works so well with him. And the two of them become in this movie. The two of them become partners. In the first movie, Mickey doesn't have any respect for him at first for a very long time. In this movie, Mickey's trying to be his friend. And over the hill, you're done. Don't do this. And then when he sees it, because come on, Mickey's an old fighter. You knock him down, he's going to get up and come at you. And Apollo Creed comes out with the cheap shots, and Mickey reacts like an old boxer. Let me at him. So this whole movie rang true. And we talk about how there's no way anybody would survive the kind of punishment. That's true over 15 rounds. But if you want to see a real boxing match that pretty much was this, watch Marvelous Marvin Hagler's first fight against Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
Oh,
for the
yeah,
middleweight.
Tommy Hearns, yeah.
Oh,
but a lot of
that
people
first
forget, Red Shirt, Chuck Wepner is who Rocky is based on.
Yes.
And he had some brutal fights.
He did have. But I'll just say, if you want to watch a fight where one guy knocks the other down, the other guy gets up and knocks him down, and it's a war from then on. That fight was exactly what Apollo Creed predicted for this fight at the beginning of the movie. It was going to go less than 2 rounds, and it did go less than 2 rounds. They couldn't make it past 2 rounds. But oh my God, for 5 minutes, that is a boxing match for the ages, because both of them got personal, just like here, and they were wailing on each other. And you didn't know right up until the final knockdown that the fighter couldn't get up from. I'm not going to spoil it. It is one of the most amazing boxing matches that lasted less than 2 rounds that I've ever seen. So this is not out of the question. It's just too long to be real. But it's a great movie, and they did the choreography is definitely better than it was in the first movie.
Yeah,
way better. So
they had more time to rehearse, is why.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, loved it.
Cool, awesome.
That's my ratings.
Killer. No, Richard, well stated. You guys all brought your A game to this conversation tonight. I love it. And we got Nikki D for $3. Says she comes with a super sticker. Thank you, Nikki D. I appreciate it.
Barry Bush just said something funny down there.
All right, I'll get to it. So Rob Altus also said one of the best sequels ever. Soul Assassin says the film passes the mad scale. Few women who are clothed and lots of KY jelly and sweaty men. A+. You guys are hilarious. And then Chuck Wepner didn't have cauliflower ears. He had cauliflower face. You guys are hilarious. And then Cavatino, Cavalryman Shay says 14 out of 5 Italian chickens and 6 out of 12 eggs and toxicity. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess this is my. I'll be the final one. So, once again, I'm gonna echo a few things. I'm not gonna have much different than what the gentlemen here have had to say, but very in my opinion, very underappreciated sequel. Like, it's appreciated, but not the vein that it should be. I feel like it should be one of the higher regarded sequels in the pantheon of incredible sequels. And I feel like you have every character matters. I feel like the fact that it's almost identically 2 hours, like the first movie's cool too. And the contrast plays out, the way the story plays out, and it somehow makes for an entertaining love story and a freaking sports movie and an action movie. And that fight and the montage. I feel like the extra weight on the montage when Adrian said to win, it just everything just turned to 11 from that scene. It was just all adrenaline. So I can watch this movie again and again, and I have, and this will not be the last time I watch Rocky 2. So absolutely phenomenal movie. I'm going to give this sucker a 9.2 out of 10 for Rocky 2. So with that, as Andre likes to say,
with that,
Next week's flick, before we plug in our channels, guys, we're gonna be covering a certain flick with a Keanu Reeves and a Patrick Swayze, a '90s flick. They happen to be at
Will there be firing guns in the air?
They'll be having a bit of a.
You're pushing me to my breaking point.
More homoerotic
Past
stuff.
my point break.
Yeah. We're gonna be at a bit of a Point Break next week, guys. So brace yourselves for Point Break. It's
the original. Enough said, obviously.
The original.
Right? Yeah, no, there's
Don't
nothing
even go
beyond that.
Best surfing heist movie ever made.
Yeah,
it's gonna be huge.
You know what's funny about that movie? I've only seen it like a couple times actually.
Oh,
I didn't realize, like, for some reason when I saw it on cable or whatever as a kid a couple times, I must have only seen it up to the point where he shoots up into the sky, because I always thought that was the end of the movie.
No, oh my God, no.
I shit you not. Like, I'd seen it a couple times when I was younger. I'm like, okay, that's the end of the movie, whatever. And then as I'm an adult here, I watched it on Blu-ray here, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And I'm like, wait, the movie's not over yet? I'm like, whoa, what's all this? So, like, evidently I've never seen the entire movie before, because there's like a whole nother bit that I was just like completely unaware of. Like, in my original recollection, the movie ended with that scene. They got away, and it was Keanu shooting up in the sky, and then it's like in the movie for some reason in my brain. Maybe I fell asleep the first time. Who knows? Not a big fan of it. It's a good film, but yeah. So I'm not going to be on
tearful romantic ending then.
Oh yeah, I remember. I finally did see the whole movie, right? You know, so I just haven't seen it enough to where I think I can comment on it like I can add to like Rocky and Rocky 2 and stuff like that. So
I was just reading what Shinatsky said about they do a live version of it and they pick a random person to play Keanu Reeves' character, and I'm like going, well, they got to give the homeless people something to do there.
Oh damn! All right.
That's the only Point Break story I got. Sorry.
No, it's all good, Tom.
It's actually a good story, and I can't help but wonder if maybe your parents didn't want to finish watching the movie.
I think maybe I fell asleep or something. Or maybe that was just the iconic scene that I always saw and whatever, and just I have no idea.
All right, Gary, what do you got? What can you do to plug in this week? I want to know what you're going to do.
We just recorded the latest episode of Scoop Zone. It'll air on Thursday at 5:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tomorrow I'll be with Fat Steven Seagal on his channel doing our show Shit Talk with Stephen and Gary. Then Friday we got Chuck Dixon joining us on TGIF. We're going to have a few guys. Well, Clobberin' Time's going to be there. Mark D with a C is going to be there.
Woo! Nice.
Going to have quite a few friends joining on that one. We're having a very specific panel. Purple's going to be there too, specifically that are fans of Chuck Dixon and know his work. I think that I've made that clear. This is very important that we want to have people really asking.
Oh yeah, questions. I love his Nightwing. Yeah,
it's okay.
You can time that for me.
It's all right.
I'll say it. I love his Nightwing.
Oh man, his Nightwing was great. I'm just being a dick. But and then Saturday we're just doing our typical Saturday morning fun time thing. I don't think we're gonna have any guests. I'm sure you'll see Dork Night there. Shinatsky should be there. Shinatsky.
I might try and come
keeping an eye on you, Shinatsky.
I might try and get on there.
I would like.
I'm trying to get a hold of you.
When is that one? Yeah. When is Blade Runner 40th?
That'll be June 25th.
I want in.
We've got. Hey man, you're welcome.
I'm in.
We've got the guy that took over Blade Zone, the fan club for me. Gary Willoughby's going to be there. We're going to have Paul Salmon, the guy who wrote the Bible, the making of Blade Runner, Future Noir. We're going to have a really good crew to talk about this film because 40 years, man.
40 years.
40 years ago, I went to my first movie as an 18-year-old.
You heard that, guys? 40 years ago, he went to an R-rated flick.
I didn't have to have my dad take me. That's it for me, man. Get me the fuck
You asked him anyway, just in case you were scared.
That's the pop culture minefield where they have Chuck Dixon on, talk Blade Runner. I'm going to join them for that one. It's going to be huge. It's going to be glorious. So, Gary, Thank you as always, sir. It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you, man. I
having
love
you.
being a part of your team,
This
man.
is,
This
dude.
great.
This I love this. So I can't wait till how we see what Yeti cooks up for the intro. It's gonna be fantastic, and I will see you next week for the Point Break. And now, the man who keeps the visuals going, the man
You
who's
look like
got
a midget. You're so low on the camera.
That's a more, you can see more of the background that way, right? I had this big monitor, so the camera's all the way up here. Yeah, maybe someday when I can get a better camera. Yeah, you don't want to see me anyway, just the toys. So
yeah, whatever.
But thanks for having me on again. Yeah, always love doing that slideshow, and hope it's not that often I catch a great shot like that, but that took a while to get that Rocky embrace. But yeah, we'll make sure we get that on.
And I love your Thunderbirds model, man. I really do.
Thank you. Yep. So yeah, I had a video out on that model, and I had dropped a video the other day on. Well, I did tribute to we lost. Where's my
nice Last Ronin book to the side there? I see the Last Ronin number 5. Yep. So good.
I did a video on this sketch how George Perez did this for my son when he wasn't going to do sketches that day. But watch the video. It's a short video, but tells the story of that and how much we miss George Perez and how great of a guy he is. And if behind me you can see my Infinity Gauntlet is signed by George, and I've also got if I get out of the way here, Fantastic Four signed by George. So we got to meet him just that one time. But it's a a guy that we all miss a lot, and it's just a shame. But we've all been getting some tributes, so check out some of the videos. And Comic Relief Crusader did a nice video, and I know probably Clobbering Times did a great show tonight. So it's great to be able to do these tributes to people. But thanks for having me on, and looking forward to the next week, and I gotta get my into some surfing movies. Maybe I'll watch some Elvis surfing movies to get ready for that. But
Shellback just shit on you.
Very much.
No, hey, Mark.
Standing, yeah. Is Mark standing?
Is Mark standing?
I'm taller than this guy, Shellback. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can I adjust this camera? I don't give a crap. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, a little lower there.
Yes,
Is that better? Yeah.
Lower, baby.
Lower, baby.
Yeah, I went a little lower.
Lower.
I'm not saying to show your junk.
I want to see just the tip.
I want to see more than just one big D right now. The one on your hat. I want to see more than one big D.
Oh, God.
He'll cover it with that cyborg drawing.
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
There you go.
I'm cybernetic. Yep.
All right. Well, Mark, as always, sir, thank you. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of the chat and the panel where we say we appreciate what you do for the show.
Thank you. Yep.
We're thankful for your service. And I will see you next week when we go surfing.
Yeah. And congrats on 1K. I think you got to be there by now, right? I mean, let's check close. Again. You must have hit it again, right? Let's see if you're going to hit it.
I'm close. I'll
997. All right.
I'll be there in 2 days. I'll be there in 2 days. It's okay. Yep. But thank you,
I'll
sir.
I'll get my mom to sub to you. You'll get
perfect.
Can you get her to sub to me too then?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are funny. All right. And now we got we lost Tom, but we got this guy.
Hello, I'm Skeletor. This is my first time doing video dating. I'm coming out of a long-term relationship. 30 years. She tried to fuck me to death.
And succeeded.
I got the fuck up out of there. I'm looking for a redhead, perhaps.
Did you say Smellitor?
No, stupid. It's Skeletor, sorry. You bumbling boob. I think it's pretty obvious my face is a skull. I hear chicks dig that.
Look like Lance Reddick.
Dating thing.
TZ says you can video date on Gilded.
Fuck you, Gilded. I'll get you next time. Next time.
Good grief.
And
I gotta stop laughing. My face is starting to hurt.
Dude, my face does hurt. No, Tom, seriously, dude. Once again, I know you got one of the absolutely craziest schedules in the YouTube verse, so thank you for taking any of the time you do. And as always, you're always bringing the laughs and the amazing insight. So appreciate your time as always, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And guys, you know the channels: Midnight's Edge After Dark, Mead Radio.
If I can stay awake long enough, I might do some Raid Radio tonight.
Ooh.
Midnight's Edge of Tomorrow.
Beg him,
There's a whole load of them.
Beg him, guys.
Nice.
That's that Tom Cruise movie.
All right, Nick. Nick, I'm sorry I got to interrupt. My mom just subbed to you. I don't know how she did that so quickly, but now you just hit 1,000 again.
Yeah,
I've got 7 accounts, and I just subbed on all of them.
Oh, well,
my mom was 1,000.
Nice.
All right. Well, kids, I did it.
Mom's like, I like that Nick boy. He's nice. I'm going to sub to his channel.
We got.
What about me, Mom? Fuck you. Shut up. Nick's cute.
He's also got the cutest pussy tickler I've ever seen.
He reminds me of a boy I dated in 1973.
Yep, this has been a toxic panel tonight. Death by Snoo.
I can't go any farther than that dude's mom.
No, you done good.
That's about as far as I can go.
Thank you. 70s.
It's got to be one of the it's got to be one of the give in bile your heed. This is got to be one of your dauber. This has got to be one of the funniest streams that's been on for a while. But well, congratulations, Nick. We got to do it together.
Oh, in more ways than one.
We were all doing it together. So I got some stuff going on, work notwithstanding. So I did put a little whiskey video out the other day, and I've got a new classic rock related video that I'm almost finished. It's just about talk boxes and
he's almost there. He's
my
almost
favorite
there.
pack box songs. And then Thursday, I'm hoping I'll be somewhere on your celebration, Nick.
You will be there and you will come.
Indeed, I will, and hopefully again, and then maybe later on too. Friday night, Emma for Cocktail Lounge and Foul Ball. Saturday morning, I may be on Gary's show if he's still willing to have me, as the actress said to the bishop. But next Monday, my It's Only Talk and Roll series will recommence. I'm doing them every 2 weeks at the moment because of the amount of freaking prep time it takes me to do them. This coming Monday, it will be a progressive rock special. So it's all prog all the time. So it's going to be capes and pyramids and aliens and mellotrons and you name it. It's going to have all that shit in there. So there'll be an esteemed panel: Pope Metallicus, Imperatus, Darius, Munchausen, Salty Texas Sea, and Purple. Gary mentioned Purple Valkyrie is going to join us too.
Nice.
So we're going to be talking some.
I know her. She's good.
She's great. And there may be others, of course, depending on who's got nothing better to do at 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon Pacific. So I'm looking forward to that one, though. It should be a lot of fun. I've made some nice montages for that.
All right.
I needed a montage.
And we needed a montage, yeah.
We did need a montage. Yeah.
Well, thank you, 70s, as always. I look forward to I will definitely catch that Prague show. That sounds excellent. And guys, that 70s rock fan, that's where he is on the YouTube of the world. So I'll see you next week.
Too.
And he's with our Lord and Savior Gilded and Twitter.
Look at me on Twitter.
I know.
I twat.
It's about fucking time.
And now, one of the great moderators of the YouTubeverse, just another red shirt.
Oh man, thanks again, Nick. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. And let's see, this week, I may be, if you'll have me on your 1,000 subscriber stream, if I have to mark myself as busy at work for a little while, and I will be hopefully on the MFR Cocktail Lounge on Friday night. Hopefully for slightly longer than I was last week because I came in sort of right at the end. Hopefully Friday won't be quite the Chinese fire drill that it was last week. So after that, I have no idea. So we'll just take it as it comes. But that's where you can find me. And of course, in all the usual chats, say hello. I always try and say hello back. Be seeing you.
All right. Well, Red Shirt, as always, sir, appreciate your excellence on the panel, and you've been a great guest on here, hanging out with us. You're one of the boys. You're basically like one of the semi guests. I love it. So thank you as always.
He's only got a semi. Okay.
Yeah. I will see. I will see him when I come. And all right, guys, this is it. This is the closing moment. So, I got a few videos coming out this week. Two shorties. They're gonna be great. And of course, I got the comic shop talk on Friday night where D. Bud Martin will be joining us. And we're gonna be talking about the many great armors of Iron Man. We'll do a little George Perez tribute as well in there. And this Thursday afternoon is the big 1K monetization celebration stream, 3:15 p.m. Central. It's gonna be fucking fat. It's gonna be gluten filled, like fluoride filled, like everything filled. It's gonna be huge. So that's when it happens. 3:15 Central PM, guys. I will see you all there. And let's make a lot of bad decisions and have an amazing Thursday afternoon. And of course, I yell at Park Cars with the Dix Division as well. And I'm on Mead as well with Tom Connors and crew on Tuesday evenings as well before Toxic Tuesday. And we'll all see you next week, of course, for next week's Point Break. Until then, guys, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for the amazing super chats and for your continued support of the Toxic Tuesday show. Prepare for that new intro video coming out in a few weeks. It's going to be fucking stupid, and you're going to love it. Until then, guys, this is goodbye. This is good fight. And most importantly, good night. And